All right.
We live.
Log in to KofiPiesieTV.com and get Spears of the Mossi Volume 1 by Kofi Piesie Research Team, from Spears the Pen Volume 2 by Kofi Piesie Research Team, Spiritual Combat Volume 3 by Kofi Piesie Research Team, One Night Before Bed by Herit, Shawn, Khalfani, Kalawa's Trip to the Motherland by Kofi Piesie, From Cocaine to Consciousness by Herit, Shawn, Khalfani, As I Learned, We All Learn by Kofi Piesie. Also, if you want fresh merch, go to our online store, Family Connect Apparel, and get all the brands. Also, get our 54 deck of quiz and educational cards available now on Kofi Piesie TV.
All right. Peace to Black African Power. Welcome back to Kofi Piesie TV with Kofi Piesie Research Team. First, I want to say Dual Duau, Dual Aku, Dual Netcher, Fatmu Alafie, Fatmu Riwi, Fatmu Iwa Pele. Hold on. I'm hearing like a lot of back. Hold on, y'all. Yeah, all right. Majuba Iba Ie Gungun, Majuba Iba Ie Gungun, Majuba Iba Ie Lakba, Majuba Iba Ie Lakba, E Gungun, Kiki E Gungun. We always want to give honor and praises to the ancestors, because without the ancestors, we wouldn't be here. We are our ancestors. I also want to extend honor and praises into the true and living elders out there according to an African tradition and from an African world view. Please like and share the show. Please share it with somebody you think that may be interested in this discussion and this topic. Peace to everybody out there in the chat. I'll pass the mic and then we'll get started with the show. Go ahead, Chavis, and then Sutek and T'Challa.
Peace to the world. What's going on? What Chavis? Gonna hop up in this conversation. It's gonna be real interesting, and hopefully we can have a good dialogue.
Hey, peace. Share Lafayette needs your brother Sutek. Appreciate y'all for coming through. We Black at it back once again, man. Kofi Piesie Research Team. Make sure you please like the show as you come in. Help get us in these YouTube algorithms and help it the shows become more accessible for people to find. Also, make sure you share the show in your groups and with people that you think would appreciate this information or this discussion. Yeah, man. Appreciate y'all, man. The same fam for coming through every time, man.
T'Challa.
Peace. I know it's a delay on my end, so I hear y'all in real time, but I'm responding and it's gonna take a few minutes to get there. But we appreciate everybody tuning in as usual. And this should be a good discussion. So let's get into it.
All right. Now I'm gonna share my screen real quick. Then we'll get into the thing. And we'll lay out what we are all gonna be discussing to the family real quick. Hold on, let me share my screen. Y'all let me know when my screen is sharing. I want to read this copyright thing too, because we're gonna be sharing videos as well today. Oh man. Give me just a second, y'all. I should have did this a while ago. Give me 1 second. But I just lay out what we gonna be doing while my thing is pulling up over here. I just had to share it to my vault so I can open up my PowerPoint real quick. It's gonna open up for me. But we're gonna be discussing Kwame Brown. We know Kwame Brown is a big topic of discussion for the past few weeks. I hadn't, my brothers, they done pulled me into the conversation. They've been building on this conversation for the past maybe 2 weeks. And what caught my attention was a comment that our good brother Kwame Brown made the other day. And Sutek was like, we just might as well just go live. We've been currently having conversation in the back chat about it. So we just gonna go ahead and we just gonna build on it. Is my PowerPoint showing?
I see it.
Yeah.
Okay. Just real quick, but the statement that he made is, if my ancestors helped build this son of a bee, why would I say I'm African? I ain't an African American, man. That's a whole statement right there to me is kind of crazy. But we'll talk about that in a minute. And on the side, I got Geechee Boy. You know, he always say he's a Geechee. He's a Geechee. We know he's from Charlton. He's from South Carolina, Charlton, if I'm saying the name right. But he's from South Carolina. But we're going to talk about that in a minute. But we're going to get into how the outbursts and stuff all started. Before we do that, again, as I learned, we all learn. Y'all know we follow that motto and that statement over here. We live by that over here, and we demonstrate that very well over here. We must not let our ancestors down. That is another motto that we follow. We're definitely not letting our ancestors down because we're continuing to build or stand on the shoulders of our ancestors. We are continue to build and add on to their works that they left behind. We are continuing to shout out their names so they won't be forgotten. Also, same tree, different branch. We put out we went public 2 weeks ago. We have a publishing company. It is an official publishing company. We're not saying we have a publishing company and we don't. We are a official publishing company. We have paperwork that bag us up. We have the hours and the time spent in. We have the mentorship put in. We have everything that a publishing company has to offer. We do it all. We have programs. We have the software. We have the well-being. We have the staff. So please go to www.sametreedifferentbranchpublishing.com. Again, that is www.sametreedifferentbranchpublishing.com and look at the website and look at the projects that we got coming out through the pipeline on Same Tree Different Branch. And I will be having up some outside projects soon as we get those manuscripts in from our clients. Our clients are still working on some of the manuscripts, and when they get through with the manuscripts and we start the project, we'll have the projects up, those projects up as well. So again, go to www.sametreedifferentbranchpublishing.com. again, like I said, we're gonna be playing a few videos. I know I'm definitely is gonna be playing a few videos just so people can say so we can hear exactly what he is saying, so we won't be saying we putting words in his mouth. It is coming out of the horse's mouth itself. But also, before I say this disclaimer, I want to say a disclaimer too. This show is not to bash our good brother Kwame Brown. This is just discussion to have. We all respect Kwame Brown. I definitely respect some of the things that he's been doing in the community. I respect some of the things that he's been saying on his YouTube channel and his Facebook page. I don't agree with everything he say, of course, if you see the title of the show. But again, this show was not to bash brother Kwame Brown. Big up to Kwame Brown. Shout out to Kwame Brown. But real quick, the copyright disclaimer is copyright disclaimer under the Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976 allowance is made for fair use for the purpose of such as criticism, comments, news reports, teachings, scholarship, education, research. Fair use is permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringed. So there you have it. There is a disclaimer. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen, and we can get it in, man. Let me go here. Stop sharing. All right, so we're gonna start off with, and then we'll get into the topic at hand or the title of the show in a minute. Kwame Brown, is you or isn't you African? But let's just build on real quick. Let's just chop it up and discuss and talk about where the outburst all started for Kwame Brown. We know he's been the butt of the joke for the past 20 years. He hadn't really said too much anything, but man, they have woken up a quiet giant, man. So let's get it in, man.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Travis.
All right. So a lot of the discussion that we've been having been based on Steve A, and whether he was commentating or just talking mess about him. I personally take the position of the whole issue is whether basically Kwame performance was up to par compared to the rest of the NBA. And Steve A dropped a video the other day with some going off on basically mentioning that he was talking.
Hold on. Before you get into that, I'm explain like how this first took place.
Okay.
Like, so all the Smoke podcasts, it's a podcast hosted by Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson. So Gilbert Arenas came on, and we know Gilbert Arenas he played for Washington when Kwame was there. So he was
that Sutek. I said it predate that. That ain't how it started.
Well, okay, so you go ahead, because I might not be privy to what you're talking about.
So it all started when Jeannie Buss, the owner of the Lakers, when she came on the show, and they was talking about a trade that she made for it was Kwame Brown in the trade, and it was somebody else in the trade. And she said, yeah, we made the trade for X, Y, and Z. I can't remember exactly who they made the trade for. Huh?
The Paul Gasol?
Yeah, it was Pau Gasol. Thanks. Yeah, it was Pau Gasol. So they traded. So then, she said, yeah, we made the trade with Kwame and such for Pau. And then Matt Barnes tapped Steven Jackson on the leg and said, nah, y'all traded one player. And then, Stephen A. Jackson, or not, Steven Jackson was like, what? And then he was like, yeah, y'all traded one player, talking about Kwame, he tapped him on the leg. That's how the shit all started. That's the inception of the Kwame Brown, all the smoke joke. And then the next episode that followed that, Gilbert Arenas comes on the show. Now, Gilbert Arenas, if y'all watched that interview, he was teammates with Kwame. So, he was able to give his background on, like, okay, this is why, like, because Gilbert Arenas didn't say nothing bad about him. You know what I'm saying? So when Gilbert Arenas spoke his piece, because like I said, Gilbert Arenas is a teammate. Jeannie Buss, she's the owner, so she just said X, Y, and Z. But once Gilbert Arenas start talking about it and saying, hey, man, Kwame, he would have been better off. And then he said, like, yeah, it was some games where he would be like, yeah, man, just give me a tip in so I can get my mojo flowing. Like, then, that's when Kwame started, he was like, okay, now I got to say something. You know what I'm saying? Because they going in on me now. Like, so that's how it started. It was the L.A.
Right.
Jeannie Buss interview. And then the next interview was Gilbert Arenas, and then they went in on it a little bit more.
I got that on one of my slides, because that was basically him explaining, I guess, the flashes of potential. Like, I seen it wasn't really a negative. Like, he wasn't really just talking mess, but Matt Barnes and then was being sarcastic. It was like a joke from what I seen, but I didn't really get into that because I didn't see that as, what I'm saying. Even with that, the whole thing was they was talking about basketball, and then he came out with his personal thing. I mean, that was his, I guess, defense, or his just, basically, him defending himself, But I see it as an ad hominem, because it's basketball. If you ain't, what I'm saying, if you didn't Purdue, or you didn't, meet up to par, or play at the performance that you was expected, I mean, it is what it is. And I'm not saying he never said that, like he never accepted that, but in essence, he's not, by the way he's responded to everybody behind it in the way he's doing.
But see, he wasn't. But see, that's the thing right there, man. He wasn't at first he was. So if you go back and look at the video, and see, I wish I had, and see, I hadn't had the video. I was trying to get all my videos. I'm gonna have to get them put up when we start talking about this African thing in a minute, because I definitely want to play those little small sound bites. But doing his he #1 draft pick. He was drafted by Michael Jordan. But going into when he got drafted, when he got ready to go in, he got hurt. He broke his wrist and something else, and I think he broke his foot or something. So he was injured going in.
Yeah.
So his expectations weren't the same as it was when he got drafted. And when he talks about this when he goes into when they got ready to start training, season got ready to get started, he was supposed to got traded. I forgot the person that he was supposed to got traded.
Something like that.
Yeah, and somebody else. So the expectations wasn't all. So he coming in and already injured. So the expectations was high for him. It was no longer high for him, and they kept it quiet and doing the season. Or when the season started, he was supposed to got traded to somebody to another team, but that didn't transpire at that particular time. So the ball team already didn't have those high expectations for him like everybody else had coming into league, being the #1 draft pick, because they knew he had already got injured. He had injured his foot or ankle. If I'm wrong, somebody tell me. And I think it was his wrist or his fingers or something but he talked about that on one of his shows on his YouTube channel, Bus Life. So the expectations for the ball team wasn't that high for him. He was already finna get traded. So that was one factor right there. He was injured coming into the league.
I know. I seen. I think the first game he played, I think he scored some kind of amount, and then the rest of it was just downhill from there. I don't know. I seen him come in and hit a jumper. I don't know if that was the first game, but the overall average that that year, and then going forward.
Hold on, Rob. Peace, brother. Robert Rand. Peace, brother. We are going to lead up to that. We understand that some of these things, because I'm only way I got privy to this is because of my brothers. I'm not on YouTube like talking about it. I really don't indulge in a lot of things, but this is an interesting topic. So we're going to get into the comment. And I didn't know everybody was already talking about this because, again, I don't watch a lot of YouTube videos until last night. We've been talking about it in the back check. So I started to look and investigate and look at some things and look at some of the brothers' videos. So yeah, some of the people we kind of talking about some of the stuff some people talking about, but we're going to get into the comment of is he African or is he ain't African? We're going to get into the statement that he made, Brother Branch. Can you just be patient for us for a minute and we're going to get into that, please, sir?
Yeah, we going to deal with that, bro. And I know other platforms are dealing with what we talking about, but this is our perspective. So we're going to give our perspective, but we'll get to it. We'll get to it. I promise you. But yeah, man, I feel like his quote unquote outburst was warranted because you don't get to decide how another person reacts if you keep pushing them. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's one thing to critique a player. That's cool, but that telling them that he's not a player, telling them that they got traded. He wasn't a player. He wasn't a factor included in that trade. Like, that's not critique. So if you push me, you don't get to decide how I react. If you push me and I swing on you, hey, I mean, what can you say? Go ahead.
I mean, but like as far as that's taking some to a little extreme, but as far as I felt like as far as the basketball, I feel like the assessment as far as the man game, looking at the stats, I can see how that could be drawn as far as a conclusion. And I understand people are sensitive, they do. But at the same time, you like the dude say, you put it out there, people they're gonna say something about it, regardless of. My thing about that is it's ironic that it get accepted from people that is better than you. You know what I'm saying? When like I think I seen T-Mac go off on them. I mean, not chopping off, just talking about saying the same type of things, and other basketball players saying when they are, I guess, I don't know, more elite players that are actually better than you, then I guess it's okay to like make up. But then when you can't make that type of assessment, I guess you can't see those same things being a fan, or you just gotta say it a certain way, for I guess to cater to people's emotion. But I understand as far as the label of thing, like that was one thing that we was discussing as far as like how Jalen Rose was going in about how that process affects a player in general. So I understand that, but at the same time, your game is another thing. If you don't change it, then you know what I'm saying, you set yourself up to get this type of critique.
See, my thing, Chavis, is
that's not a critique.
Hold on, listen.
Talking, however you want to frame it, it's a labeling thing. To me, it's relative to whoever is interpreting it.
This shit, hey man, listen, look, the shit is. I'm starting to look at it as a form of bullying, right? So like, look at it from this perspective. Like everybody, like you said, the whole league has been a brunt of the joke for 20 years. Like, how much longer can you pick on a person? This nigga, he never said he was Shaq reincarnated. He never said he was the best big man. Like, he never claimed to be none of these things.
Hold on, let him talk, bro. Let him talk.
Hold on, because I'm trying to make a point. Like, you know, this shit is starting to become a form of bullying. Like if you keep picking on somebody, like we all played basketball before, it's always one person that's gonna be shitty. Like it's all everybody ain't gonna be nice on your team if you play pickup game. But you need that other person to play the game. Is you gonna keep picking on that person, telling them they shitty day in and day out every day? Like every day you gonna keep doing it? Like and then the shit he don't even play basketball since 2000, what is it, 13? Here it is, 2021, and they
Yeah.
still clowning the man. Like, come on, bro, that's bullying, man.
I didn't see that sarcastic joke as bullying, but I can understand how it can be interpreted as such. But that's just my personal perception on that, because it's not just one person that has this sentiment as far as the dude game. It's something that's etched in stone via his, you know what I'm saying? That's what he chose to do. That was the career he chose to go, and they tally up stuff, and it's also recorded, and there's a lot of stuff that you're gonna see that once you are on camera and you put yourself on, you have to deal with that type of shit. If you do something crazy, you're gonna forever have to accept whatever comes with that. Or if you do something that, you know, you just was sorry or something, you know what I'm saying? It's recorded.
At some point, though, it got to be looked at as bullying, man. Because like I said, no matter what you're doing, if you're not good at it, and somebody just keep telling you, and it's like years later, and it's like, all right, man, lead it, man. He ain't never done nothing to nobody, though. Like, this is an innocent man. Like, okay, we talking about basketball. That's cool. But, like, at the end of the day, he ain't never came out and said, oh, Matt Barnes, you trash. Oh, Steven Jackson, you trash. Like, he ain't never come out. And he's, like you said, everybody in the league been talking about the man. Everybody. He ain't never came out and said nothing to nobody like damn, like can y'all just
I don't
stop
think
me?
it was like people bullying them, because they just mentioned it once when you said it was on their show, and they mentioned it when the next time when it was relative to another conversation, and the rest of the response comes from what I'm seeing from him. After,
Nah,
you know
bro,
what I'm saying?
you skipping out a lot, because this has been going on. They've been bullying dude since he been in the league. This ain't nothing that just popped out of nowhere. And also, again, these aren't critiques. A person can say, well, he wasn't up to par. He needed to do this better, that better. They not doing that. They not doing it. They just talking out their ass. So it's one thing to critique a person, but it's another thing to just keep calling the dude trash, or you ain't nobody. Your career was nothing. Like what? I
I don't
mean,
even hear
that's not
nobody saying
constructive.
it that much like that. Like that's
Yeah,
being
but they
framed.
do though. They do though. His own teammates been saying this. His own teammates was telling you from the jump, from year one, they've been treating dude dirty. From the coaches to Jordan, we all know Jordan the asshole, man. But and we all know how Jordan is with his teammates. Now
Well,
put that on a 17-year-old kid coming fresh out of high school. Like, come
you're
on,
not
bro.
the only,
Like,
you're not the
it's
only one
got
that
to be
came out of high
bullying at
school.
some point.
You're not the only one that got dealt. Like Jordan didn't do that specifically to him. I would accept that if that was just one person or isolated. That's just the real, like the climate of the NBA.
We
That's
talking
something that
about
they
a kid though. We talking about a kid though. We ain't talking about people coming out of college that's done
I'm saying
had that
LeBron
opportunity
came out.
to
LeBron
get
came out
that
of
type of energy
Kevin
from
Durant.
their college coaches. We talking about a kid coming straight out of high school. That's a kid, bro. He ain't even old enough to buy cigarettes yet. You feel me? Like you can't handle every player. You as a coach or you as the leader of your team, you can't handle every player like that, bro. Every player is different. Every player needs to be handled and dealt with differently. You can't go off on a 17-year-old child the same way you'll go off and cuss out and damn near be ready to fight a grown ass man. Like it can't. It got to be a
On
dichotomy.
the basketball court, I don't know, man. I hear a lot of this, but like when you actually play and you play for a team, it ain't none of this type of, you know, this sensitive. Them boys is real raw out there. That's just a part of basketball culture. It's not. They don't cater to your feelings. If you need to do something and you continue to not do it, somebody, especially if someone that is, what I noticed, it's the people that are better that are actually the ones that handle people like that. So I'm not saying it don't exist, but I'm saying it's not something that, like I was saying the other day, a lot of this stuff is just normalized in the culture of competitive sports.
Somebody said, has this dude Chavis ever played basketball?
I played varsity.
Yeah.
2005.
What up, Marcel? Albert Hotel. Peace, brother. Peace.
Yeah, man. When you dealing with a good leader, man, a good leader know how to, because you can't treat everybody the same. Like a good leader knows that. Like if you managing or doing any type of shit like that, like some people you could come hard at and then motivate them. Some people you got to motivate them other ways. And
right. Yep.
I think, but and they was talking about Phil Jackson. Like a lot of the players was talking about how Phil Jackson coaches, and he was like, he didn't coach Dennis Rodman how he coached Michael Jordan. He didn't coach Shaq how he coached Kobe. Like, in these different eras. I was watching The Last Dance and I was listening to Shaq. When I put it together, I'm like, yeah, Phil Jackson's a good leader, because even Matt Barnes was talking about how he's able to, reach his players. So a good leader, Jordan just not a good leader when it comes to that. And everybody knows it. So
Shannon Sharp talked about it the other day. The same thing that you and Sutek was definitely talking about, his leadership skills and the way that he bashed that 17-year-old boy and and made him feel a certain way, and never build his confidence up, man. Like Sutek said, that's a 17-year-old boy coming straight out of high school and probably playing with one of his idols, which was Michael Jordan, who came back to the league. I mean, and Shannon Sharp talked about that, and he talked about even how the ball club, fired him or did something to Michael Jordan because of a lot of the negative things that he was doing, with the ball team, and a lot of the things that, he was, I guess a lot, the way he was treating, Kwame Brown at that time. I know in Kwame, he kind of talked about it as well, man. But yeah.
Yeah, he got fired because he said the wrong thing to the wrong person. Like like everybody ain't gonna put up with that, man. You know what I'm saying? Like he tried to treat the wrong person, and he got fired. You know what I'm saying? So that is what it is. But yeah, man, you can't deal with everybody the same, bro. Being a coach is like being a teacher. Like in class, you got students that's gonna learn different ways. Everybody ain't gonna learn the same way. Some people gonna learn more visually. Some people gonna learn better one-on-one. Some people gonna learn better if you hype them up, amp them up. Some people gonna learn better if you beat them up. Like you gotta know how to deal with the individual. That's how that's a good coach.
Right.
Yeah.
Doug Collins, bro, he just was there because Jordan was there.
Yeah. So y'all want to build on this some more, man, or y'all want to go and get into Kwame Brown? Easy?
David, you got your slides, so go ahead and
oh yeah, I forgot about
those slides up.
All right.
To the stop. Yeah, Marcel, Jordan took, hold on, let me put his comment up here real quick while Chavis get his stuff together. Jordan took his frustration out on him, and he already on his way out, retired again, and the Wizards failed to make the playoffs. Yeah, yep. But he did, even when, I hope you show the stats, Kwame Brown, Chavis, and what's the name, where where he did decent during the playoffs. During the playoffs,
I'm going for everything I looked at.
Okay.
I'm looking at his career.
There it is. I just added it to the stream. Critical analysis of Kwame Brown.
Slow.
You still there, Chase?
Yeah, it's stuck on the it's loading up.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, it had moved.
loading up slow. There you go.
Oh, it's loading up the slides. I see it. I see it.
Tavis, he anti
Yeah,
Kwame. I want to see what this critical analysis.
necessarily that I'm anti-Kwame. It's I don't like I peep certain things and I just I don't ignore them. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of how whatever everybody else may feeling that I ain't never been the person to even really roll the whatever everybody. I just look at it from what I'm looking at it. I can hear you out, but I'm just looking at it objectively from what I see. And from when we talking about his career, high school, senior averages, 20.1 points, 13.3 rebounds, 5.8 blocks, 3 assists, 2 steals per game. I'm just gonna do it like that because it's taking too long for the whole thing to pop up full screen. So how does Kwame rookie debut compare to the 74 history of recorded first draft pick debuts? The list starts in 1947. That's 74 years of data. On points alone, first year Kwame Brown's averaged 4.5 points per game compared to a complete history of first round draft picks literally puts him at the bottom tier of talent with only in 1972, Portland Trailblazers, LaRue Martin, United States center. He played for La Jolla. He scored 4.4. 2013, Anthony Bennett. He was a forward from Canada. At UNLV, he scored 4.2. 1948, Providence Steamrollers. Andy Tonkox, whatever. United States, he's a guard. Charlie Scher, that was in 1950. He played for the Boston Celtics. He scored 3.9. So only 4 players under him, and only one is a center who he only beat by 0.1, a tenth of a point. So I thought that was an interesting thing that they brought up. So, Kwame's debut could accurately be assessed as the second worst center first round draft pick debut in NBA history, and on his based on his 4.5 average.
And again, like I said, he came into the league hurt. His expectations were no longer as high with the ball club that he went to.
I'm just saying, my thing is just I'm looking at it from as far as his whole game. I'm
Saying
not.
this on ESPN. I hope you got that as one of your sources. I seen the same analysis on ESPN.
Oh, okay. I just went last night. I just was putting it together. So yeah, he played for 17, 12 years. His career statistics. We got the 4,000 points, 6.6 per game. Rebounds, 3,000. 333, 5.5 rebounds, assists, 554.9 assists, blocks. He was barely getting, I guess, an assist a game. That's 0.6. Game played, 607. Game started, 281. So then I said, how does Kwame stats measure up against other 7 footers in the league? Ooh. Got Shawn Bradley. Shawn Bradley played 832 games. Started 484. Played 23.5 minutes. His points was 8.5. per game. His for his career, 6,752. Rebounds, 5,268. Blocks, 200 and 2,119. So that's you got 6.3 rebounds per game, 2.5 blocks per game. Bradley also played 12 years. Got Robert Parrish. A lot of people that know basketball, you know, he played for a long time. His points, he wasn't just no super scorer or nothing, but you know, he was a decent center. He scored in his career 23,304. He averaged 14.5 per game. Rebounds, 14,700. That's 9.1. Blocks, 2,361. 1.5 blocks.
That's the white guy from the Celtics, ain't it?
No, Robert Parrish. That's a black
Yeah.
dude. He an older dude.
I don't
He
remember
played.
him.
He played for a long time. You gotta look him up. He played for the Celtics. He played for damn near everybody. He got Keem. This was just. I ain't really. I wouldn't even try to compare him to this, but this is just looking at, you know, stats. Got 26,946, 21.8 per game, 13,000 rebounds in his career. That's 11.1, 3,830. That's 3.1 block per game. He played 1,238 games. Started 1,186. 30 average 35.7 minutes, 21.8 per game. Lonzo Mourning, 14,311, 17.1 per game. Rebounds, 7,137, 8.5 rebounds per game. Blocks, 2,356. Career, 2.8 per game.
I don't think Alonzo Mourning is 7 foot though, bro. You gonna have to look that up. You gotta take shit off the list.
Okay, well, go ahead. You can, if you want to take him out. I'm just all the decent centers I can find, and I just threw him in there. But I know the rest of them. He might not be. I was just off the top of my head. Who can I think of that wasn't superstar, like amazing score, just decent centers, and that's how he got in the mix. So we got Dikembe Mutombo. He got 11,729, 9.8 points per game. I'm just gonna go off the point per game because really everybody pretty much got way more than Kwame. They got 10.3 per game, 2.8 block per game. Then you got Yao Ming, who didn't even play that long. He got 9,000 points and 9,247 points and 19.0 points per game. Rebounds, 4,494, 9.2 per rebound per game. I'm just saying.
Hey, James, they going in on you on the chat, man. I don't know. I'm just letting you know. Hey, this is the only time I agree with Sheffrin ever in life.
Hey, shout out to Sheffrin for subscribing to the channel. I thought you've been subscribed, Sheffrin, man. But appreciate the subscription, man.
4.6. I'm just saying, I could really, like I say, I never that shit don't even much. That's not even nothing for me to entertain. So the results is Kwame leads only. Also tagging points. Also tag has more rebounds and blocks compared to the other centers. His stats fail in the comparison. He is selected in selecting centers to compare. I tried to give a variety of different types of centers and not too many all-star centers to offer a clear picture as to how his numbers compare to his peers. Draw your own conclusion. Then I also look right here, and these are his complete stats. Hold on, let me hide this. So at the bottom, here you got his points, and this is all year long. I mean, this is his career in general. And points, the highest it goes is here. I think that's when he's with the Grizzlies, if I'm not mistaken. but that's 10.9. Far as rebounds, blocks, and he wasn't getting no blocks really. He got some. He looked like better at getting a defensive rebound than an offensive rebound thing. But then as far as the free throws, he declined his whole career. That's just stuff that I was looking at. Then that was somewhere at the end where Kobe's. Those are sources really, but this is where Kobe talked about him, and this is where what's called talk about him. As far as you got Kobe giving up. Hold on, let me see. I ain't gonna go to it. Well, yeah, that's
man.
where I'm coming from.
See, I agree, and this is why I agree with Kwame, man, because Sheffrin, this is crazy. I'm agreeing with Sheffrin again. He just posted something again. He said, you put together a PowerPoint of hate. That's the same shit that Kwame Brown. But listen, though, that's the same shit Kwame Brown saying motherfuckers was doing. It's like, why is
Right.
we another black man?
I hate somebody because I'm looking at some statistics. You see how anybody can frame anything, and it's funny. I never get, because I understand how sociology and psychology works. So this shit is really nothing to me. But I don't really see how I put together numbers as hate. So are we equating somebody's statistics? I just assessing that. So if that's the case, then hey, I accept it. That's what I'm doing.
My whole thing with that is though, when did Kwame ever say he was the best basketball player? Like when did he?
It's not even about him saying it. It is what it is. This is just the reality of what.
So you stating the obvious though. You stating the, like you said earlier. Everybody know in the league he was whack. 20 years, we all know that. Everything you presented, we all know is you stating the obvious. Like you ain't saying nothing. Don't know what the issue is.
Somebody is stating the obvious. Why would somebody like? Okay, you know this. So what is your issue with it? Why
the whole issue is bullying, bro. That's the issue. Like the shit is starting to turn into bullying.
Looking at that, that's why I say I disagree with that. Looking at somebody's stats and stating what the reality of them, I don't see that as bullying. I understand how someone else can. That's up to them to make that interpretation, but I don't see that as bullying. It's looking at. I just did the same thing. Like
let me ask you a question. What was your purpose of the presentation?
To objectively analyze this dude's performance. That's it, bro.
Hold on, wait a minute. To objectively analyze his performance. So you already starting out. Why is you objectively analyzing? Why you ain't just analyzing it?
Because that would be applying my own personal opinion to it, which I did not do. I didn't put I just looked at some numbers that are available to everyone.
Yeah, but if you being scientific, if you being Tep Hessep, that's in your name, you ain't gonna look at it objectively. You gonna look at it. You gonna analyze the data first. That's like you came in.
I mean, I was already aware of it.
You gotta analyze all the data too, because I noticed that you didn't put in the minutes that he played per game. That's something that matters, huh?
Do I need to go back? That's in there.
Oh, I might have missed it, but because he didn't play. Like, okay, comparing to Alonzo Mourning played way more minutes per game.
And why do people not play that much? Because that usually because you're not that good. Or
that's speculation, bro. That's speculation. That's speculation.
Look, Manu Ginobili came off the bench because he wanted to. Like, he's a starter. Like, what are you saying? Like, yeah, you got to get your science. You got to analyze all the data. Like Sutek said, if you compare it to 7 footers, all the people on the list won 7 footers. All the people on the list won 7 footers. One, and you got to compare the minutes. You got to compare that too.
And you got to show some of these first round draft picks that didn't do good like Kwame did as well. Because he was the only one.
Yeah.
You pulling the Stephen A on us, bro.
You could look up. I left the source on there, and you could go on there on your own, and you'll find out what I just put up. So I have no issue with whatever interpretation is being. That's cool with me. I'm not really seeing what I didn't assess because I pretty much dealt with nothing but the numbers. It wasn't nothing personal about to do. That's
objectively, yo.
What is objectively mean? What is?
Hold on, you asking me? You enlighten me.
Objectively will be not applying my person going off of the facts, the available data, and not my personal opinion. Being unbiased.
I don't know.
So,
go ahead, 2K.
His first season, he averaged 14 minutes a game. 14 minutes. That ain't even half. So you comparing him to people like Alonzo Mourning, who was playing.
I compare him to Shawn Bradley as well.
All right, hold on. Let me go to Shawn Bradley. Let me see how many minutes Shawn Bradley played.
Varieties of types. So, like I say, one could and draw their own. That's on them. You know what I'm saying? My main thing was is the assessment justified as far as whatever they're saying about him, and based off what I see, yeah, regardless of if he did, because people, like you said, other people got injured and they came back. You got other people that dealt with all kind of shit. They had no problem. It's the individual. You had other people come in 17 years old. They took it. It is what it is. Everybody not the same, and I have no problem saying that.
Shawn Bradley played his first season. Shawn Bradley's first season played 28 minutes per game, 10 points per game, 6 rebounds per game. You know, Kwame damn near did that in 14 minutes.
Okay, career-wise.
We go to career-wise too. Career-wise, he played 23 minutes per game, 8.1 points per game, and 6 rebounds per game. The same thing Kwame did. His average, his career overall was the exact same thing as Kwame.
So that's two. So that's 2 7-footers out of there. 2 of them out of there. So what we got? The kid, man, we gonna knock it down.
In what context?
What we do? Let's get it, man.
Explain that. How does that eliminate the fact that Shawn Bradley wasn't no. I was using him for the fact that he really wasn't even a good goddamn center. So you playing?
So why ain't we getting on Shawn Bradley like we getting on Kwame Brown?
People do get on Shawn. That nigga wasn't respected like that. You seen niggas dunk on him just like they was dunking on Kwame Brown. It is what it is with me.
Anybody can get dunked on. I'm talking about why we ain't chastising him like we chastising Kwame.
Right.
I just did. I just told you that he was sorry. It's some of these things like
he'll you said. It's better than Kwame though. He'll that's better than Kwame.
I never hear nobody criticizing or chastising Shawn Bradley as much as they do Kwame Brown. Everybody, Kwame Brown is like a stigma now.
I never even really heard people talk about Kwame. They say this man was trash. Like, I don't understand the whole people talking about that shit. Ain't they spoke on a man not being good and they keep it pushing. They laugh about it and they keep on going. It's not like something that every day for the last 10 years I heard Kwame. I ain't heard that.
Oh, I thought you said you just did. It was the butt of the joke for the last 20 years. We can roll it back. Now you ain't heard it. Now you confused. The goalpost getting moved.
We got
I'm gonna let Chef go in.
We got Chef and a Kung Fu. We got Chef and a Kung Fu. We gonna chop it up for a few more minutes and let Chef and what's name go in, and then the second segment we gonna deal with his comment and Kwame's comment about he's not African, he's not an African American. But before we get to Chef from the Kung Fu.
Peace, bro.
What's up? What's good?
What's happening?
Megan is up here prepping my duck confit. I'm making some duck confit today.
Okay. Duck confit.
Confit.
That's that duck fat.
Yeah. And I'm here for the African part.
Okay, I kind of figured that. Go ahead, Chef.
Yeah, what's up, everybody?
What's that?
I thought I've been subscribed. My bad.
No, it's all good.
I looked down at the joint and it said subscribe. I said I thought I've been subscribed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So because I'll be on here reading with y'all the the different books that when y'all do the book reviews and stuff.
Yeah.
So I thought I've been subscribed because I get all y'all notifications.
Oh, wow.
So it's crazy. But anyway, the Kwame Brown joint is crazy because man, Unc was just talking about this earlier. And I think we got a problem with respect in our community. Like I'm talking about us black people. A lot of the issues we get into, I think, is over respect. We just don't understand it, right? A person is one thing to analyze a person's game and come with stats and different things. That's not disrespectful, right? But when you call a person a bum, now that's disrespectful. A person can take that personally. Now, if you're just talking about a person's stats, can't nobody argue against that, right? Can't nobody say, or you only scored 6 points a game. You ain't better than this person because this person scored 10 points a game. Now, that's an analytical, thing that everybody can see. But when you call a person a bum, you just attack them personally. And we act like a person don't have a right, to defend themselves or actually say, yo, you went too far. Like that's basically what Kwame been saying. And we actually are really trying to have a basketball argument when he ain't even trying to have a basketball argument.
Facts. Yep.
He said, look, this guy been going around calling me a bum. My son watch ESPN, right? My son, 16 years old. You think my son want to turn on the TV, right? Everybody watch damn ESPN. You think my son want to hear somebody screaming and yelling, calling his father a bum? Like, why we can't respect another black man? Like, I just don't understand that part, yo. Like, so
right.
That's my whole issue with it.
That's where I'm at with it too, man. That's why I'm like, man, this shit's starting to become bullying because like it's going too far. Like his YouTube page is bust life. Like he never said he was good. He
exactly.
never made the claim. Like so like, to keep attacking him like that is fucked up.
Right, to put up your stats like that, you are doing the same thing Stephen A and them doing. You jumping on the bandwagon, doubling down on a person. You feel me? That's that's like if I see you at the market, right?
No,
and
I don't feel
you was working on your car.
No, I don't.
And you got an oil stain on your shirt, right? Now, respectfully, if I pull your coat that you got some dirt on your shirt, it's nothing disrespectful about that, right? But if I yell out in front of the whole market to make a mockery out of you, look at this dirty dude with the oil on, he dirty. You will feel disrespected by that. But if I just say, hey, bro, if I pull you to the side, like, look, you got some oil and stuff on your shirt, there's no way you would take that offensive. But if I just go in and start screaming, trying to clown you in front of everybody in the market, you can take that offensive. And then what would you say? I'm just saying what's on your shirt. I'm just stating the obvious. No,
I had that type of shit happen to me. Me personally, that shit don't bother me, man. If I don't let nobody silly, whatever, that type of shit is silly. Especially if I know I didn't play that good, okay. It is what it is. I'm gonna lose
You ain't
that
about to let
battle.
nobody play you though. You ain't about to let nobody play you just because your game ain't good. Like nobody's about to do that, Chavis. Stop acting like that, bro.
Right. Right. They just
I'm gonna
talking
play
about
and I'm gonna
the
lose and then I'm gonna play. That's the type of dude I am. I'm gonna play and play and play. If I lose all day, that's I just lost and you beat me, nigga. I'm not gonna sit
They
around
talking
and,
shit
and
this
be
time.
crying about this shit. Because either I'm gonna go to the court every morning and try to get better, so you can't do this shit no more, or I'm gonna give up and be a crybaby about this shit and let this shit just slowly
But
dissipate
the
away.
thing
I don't want to play basketball no more.
the thing about it is
Hey,
though, he didn't give up. He
can you
wasn't
hear me?
no crybaby. He continued going out. Go ahead, T'Challa, because you ain't spoke it out, bro. Go ahead, T'Challa.
Yeah, I know. Like I said, um, I think that's a real issue. We start disrespecting the person and calling them out their name and all of the extra ad hominems, like what y'all was just saying. You a grown man, bro. Like everybody know what type of person that I am. You say the wrong thing to me, man, and I'm gonna walk away from you, or me and you throw these things. It ain't no question about it. So it's like if you could do that all behind a keyboard, but when you see a person in the street, man, there's people in the street that would never ever talk to me crazy like they do on these social media platforms, bro. In comments, all on Facebook threads, people talk to you all kind of crazy, especially the masses. They got the power to say whatever they want behind the keyboard. If Kwame Brown pull up on any one of us, you're gonna need to change the underwear, man. That is a giant. Like, stop it. Like, we need to be respectful of people before anything. Like, I'm not about to sit here and tell Chavis, oh, because you had a couple of PowerPoints that wasn't up to that you just a trash ass researcher, whack ass nigga who disrespect you, calling you out your name and going all the extra. That's uncalled for. You know what I'm saying? Like you could better your game like any other human being. You know what I'm saying? Like we was all once there when we looked down upon another person.
Is that me or he? That might be. That's me. Is that me or him breaking up, babe?
Nah, he breaking up bad, yo. But I feel what he's saying though.
Yeah. I feel what he's saying too. Like it's about the respect level with me, man. And I'm not going. And I would have did the same thing Kwame did. I ain't got no problem if I didn't meet people's expectations. That's cool. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not gonna sit here and let you, throw shots at me, and disrespect me for the whole world to see. I have a right to defend myself, and that's exactly what I'm gonna do. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna defend myself, and that's what Kwame did, man. And that's why I said I respect, what he's doing. A lot of people having issues and having problems with him speaking out. But I mean, and it's crazy to me is by me looking, I don't really see too many people getting on to the people who actually initiated all of this, where this brother came out and started speaking for himself. Everybody is attacking Kwame Brown, telling him, he need to shut his Facebook page down. They need to shut his, his YouTube channel down. That brother needs to be quiet. That brother's being too violent, man. That's crazy. That brother is defending himself, man. That's it. He defending himself, man. And people got a problem with that because that man is defending himself, man. Every person has a right to defend themselves, man. But let's go ahead, man, and go to the second part of the show, man. Let's get into the statement. My ancestors helped build this son of a beast. why would I say I'm African and I ain't African American? Before we even get into that, man, because I want to play the video. Like what? That's a whole lot going on with that statement that he made right there. Anybody have an issue?
Play the video. You got the video of him saying it?
Yeah, Sutek gonna say it, and then we're gonna go. I'm gonna play 2 videos, and then I'm gonna go in just in case my brother doesn't know, because he say he's a Geechee, right? So if he says he's a Geechee, I don't understand why he will make that statement that he made, that my ancestors built this, and your ancestors that build these was of African descent. You know, they was of African descent. And even when we talk about the Geechee, which we'll get into about the Geechee, because I got my some of my PowerPoints pulled up. I wasn't able to just grab information, so I just went to the something I can grab real quick that I done deal with on the past, just to bag me up and validate what I'm saying. And I got the sources behind it, just to educate the person, even educate the people that may not know who the Gullah Geechee people are. But go ahead, man. Play the first play the video, man. What up, Forge? What up, Forge? Why you getting the video started? What's up? Peace, brother Forge.
What up, Forge?
Peace.
What up, Forge?
Good afternoon. Peace. Peace and love.
He's pulling up the video now, y'all, so we can see the video. And I'm also pull up the videos too, so I don't want to put any words in our brother Kwame. Mind again, like I said, we just have a discussion.
We got to run it how he's saying it, you know.
Right.
That will play the video, then we'll break that shit down.
Yeah. That's what we gonna do. Do it like that, man. And again, this ain't attack on brother Kwame. You know, I stated that in the beginning of the video, and I'm stating that again. That's our brother. And we rocking with brother Kwame Brown. Like I said, I respect a lot of the things that the brother is actually doing in his community, you know, and in the things that he's doing outside of his community. So there you go. You're gonna have it's on mute too.
Had in a long time. Somebody with a degree trying to tell me. I just had the dumbest text conversation I had in a long time. Somebody with a degree trying to tell me something. She African American. I'm an American. Not gonna trick me with that shit. That's what they want you to think. You ain't American. Motherfucker, if my ancestors helped build this son of a bitch, why would I say I'm African? I never been to Africa. I ain't African American. I'm a fucking American. This is crazy. You live by the laws of America, but you can keep associating yourself with Africa. Africans don't like you. Nigerians don't like you. They talk and train when they come over here. They don't fuck with you. So you can keep with that pipe dream. But it's so many people trying to take everything I say out of context because they don't want to deal with what was actually said. They don't want to deal with the truth. A lot of people like to separate and divide people because she don't want to deal with the truth. She don't want to deal with the fact that she keep talking about, you said welfare and Trump in the same sentence. No, what I said was
you don't have to play the whole video.
Yeah. Now I want to ask y'all a question because this is what's going over people's head. I want to ask everybody on the panel this. Did y'all hear Kwame Brown say he was not African?
No. He said he's not an African American.
Did anybody here on the panel or in the chat hear him say he is not an African?
Hold on, let me run it back just so everybody can pay attention.
Because I don't see where the big hoopla is and what he really said. If you
I do. I really do. I have an issue with what he's saying because when we run it back, I mean, even with the mindset, like, you know, I was born here in America. I'm an American. You know, I'm born here in America. I'm an American. You know, I don't want to associate myself as being an African in America or what we call ourselves African America. I don't know nobody over in Africa. I have an issue with people with a mindset like that. But
hold on, play it back.
Me
We
too.
can talk about that. We can talk about it.
Me
Play
too.
Had the dumbest text conversation I had in a long time. Somebody with a degree trying to tell me something. She African American. I'm an American. Not gonna trick me with that shit. That's what they want you to think. You ain't American. Motherfucker, if my ancestors helped build this son of a bitch, why would I say I'm African? I never been to Africa. I ain't African American. I'm a fucking American.
Okay, so why would he
Is
say
that-
This is crazy. You live
He did say
by the laws of America.
Then he goes
did
in
say
on Nigerian.
You keep associating yourself with Africa. Africans don't like you. Nigerians don't like you. They
Yeah, he said it.
Yeah, he said
We spoke about this last week.
He said he's not an African American. He never said he was not an African. Like he said,
No. He's disconnecting with the African part, bro.
See, I don't think he is. I don't think
he is. He said, "Why would I call myself an African?"
Right, that's what he said. Why would I call myself an African? I'm not an African American. Yeah.
And then he went on to use the rhetoric of Africans don't like you. They don't mess with you.
He ran to the whole gamut of what we all of us on this call right now. What we deal with on social media all the time. It's the same shit.
Can I say one thing?
He's just regurgitating what he hear.
I just want to add one thing on the brother. You all do know that his talking points are influenced by Tommy Sotomayor.
Yeah, I know.
He's been on his channel before, so
right. But he addressed to Tommy today. He made a video about Tommy Sotomayor today. Yeah, but he didn't disrespect him. He said, "I'm not gonna disrespect you, brother."
No disrespect. But I'm just saying, you know that he has those views. There's a certain sector of black conservatives here on the internet, so they do distance themselves from Africa.
Okay, see, I ain't privy to them either, so I could my full analysis on it, could be flawed because I don't even know who Tommy Sotomayor is. Like, so I would have to analyze that a little bit better to see where he coming from with that. But I appreciate y'all for put me up on that. Cause
your boy got on him. Your boy got on him.
Huh?
Your boy got on him. I think your boy punched him in the face.
Who?
Oh, Q Butter. Yeah, that's the one Q Butter punched in the face.
Okay, yeah. See,
why y'all snitching on dude?
It's already out.
They tried to do. I ain't for the violence. I ain't for the violence, man. I ain't for the violence.
I'm for ancestral violence.
Oh shit!
If you disrespect my ancestors and I'm present, you wouldn't even get the words completely out your mouth first. It'll go down. I respect everybody, and I let everybody believe how they want to believe. But when you start to propagate and spread propaganda into like trying to galvanize people into some bullshit, I'm on your head. You can believe what you want to believe, but keep that shit in your head. You know what I'm saying? When you start to propagate it and push it, because the way he put what he said, he was talking to people. Y'all want to be African,
and he's influential. He is influential.
He said he's trying to question people. You know what I'm saying? That's another thing. Every anti-African group or talking points, they have the same rhetoric.
Right.
And they do that because they're playing on the ignorance of people have for themselves. You know what I'm saying? There's no way in hell nobody ever in life can tell any of us on this call right now that we're not African.
Just because some people don't like us.
Right.
That logic, I'm not African American.
But anybody else on the street, you can put that doubt in their mind. You know what I'm saying? They don't know nothing about nothing. I don't know why I eat okra. I don't know why my grandma sweep the concrete. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why she don't like her fingernails and hair just being left around. I don't know none of this. You know what I'm saying? You can come up to that person and say, Africans don't like you. When was the last time that an African walked up to you and called you brother? When was the last time an African told you to come back home to Africa? Why didn't it come over here and help us? And
hey, the niggas down the street don't like me.
Right.
They don't call me brother.
I always tell people that. I said, you don't like you. So why you care about who don't like you when you don't like you? You don't like you. You don't like you. That's why you don't like nothing about you. That's why you want to be vegan. That's why you want to get online and talk shit about people that eat pork.
Yup.
You want to talk
Revisionist
crazy about
history.
people that wear do-rags. You want to talk crazy about people that wear bonnets. You want to talk
That's
crazy
no bonnet.
because you don't like yourself. You know what I'm saying? That's what it really is. You see when you see people do stuff, you see a reflection of yourself, an aspect of yourself in them that you don't like. And you mad that they got the courage and the self-esteem to be themselves without caring about what other people think. Because I don't know why black people in America don't get it. Nobody like us, not even us. So to even listen to or buy into what anybody got to say about you is futile.
He just took away from our own ethnicity, even though we don't have a specific tribe we all can point to. If you take the African out of American, what other American really just do that other than maybe white people? They might not say I'm a German American, I'm this because this is their country, because they're the dominant group. But see, we take the African out of American.
They made a conscious decision in the form of the Naturalization Act of 1793, where if you were German or Dutchman or Scotsman, after the Bacon's Rebellion, 1793, you were whites. That's how they stopped the working class black people and the working class African people who were indentured, and the working class white people who were indentured too. That's how they drove a wedge between that group when they rose up during the Bacon Rebellion. That's what they got paid in return, was to be called white as a group. Not I'm Dutch, I'm a Scotsman. No, from now on you're a white person. Anybody that come here from Europe and different countries that got white people there, you no longer, whatever your ethnicity is, you white. Right. But black people, black people in America, we never did that, because out of all the Africans in the diaspora, we never felt at home here. They never made no concessions that ever make us think, a blink in our mind, that they wanted us here, that we were accepted here, and that we belong here. You know what I'm saying? So it's a fantasy for black people to say, I'm not African. Well, my ancestors built this country. It's a 400-year abusive relationship. It's like a woman letting a man go upside her head, and when people tell you to leave, you say, "Well, I pay the bills too." That's the same difference. You let somebody go upside your head.
Let's get into the meat and potatoes, because I'm thinking like this, right? Like Kwame say he Geechee, right? Because we talking about how he's saying he not African American. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking he's saying I'm not African American, I'm Geechee, because he said he was Geechee, right?
Yeah,
I didn't never hear it, but by saying you Geechee, by default you saying you African. That's why I was like, I didn't hear him say he was not an African. I heard him say he's not an African American, but by him saying he's not an African American, hold on, let me finish. By him, because this is the point I was trying to say. Like, by him not saying he's African American, he's identifying as Geechee. That's what I was thinking. Like, okay, but he didn't say he wasn't African, so by default he's African. So maybe I'm confused.
No, he just don't know what he's talking about,
or he just don't know what he's talking about. And
let's be honest. Like, let's just be honest, yo. A person, and none of us are 100% right about everything. Right? Like, we can agree with each other with, and there's gonna be a myriad of different things that we're gonna disagree with. And most of our disagreements gonna come from either side not being abreast of the information as much as the other, more than likely. You feel me? So like, instead of just going in on them on the African thing, because it's a valid, for y'all it might not be, but that's definitely an argument in our community. Like, he's not the only, you know what I mean? You can hear this in a black barbershop from people that sit in your chair. This is a common, so he's not an outlier by even stating that.
That's true.
Right. So it's not like, and we all encountered people, most of us are readers, and we read African subjects and stuff like that.
So we talk about these things, and we get challenged in our own communities. With the information that we regurgitate, our own community and family members actually challenge us. So this is nothing but another simple challenge, right? That either we can inform the brother, right? Or we can just go. He said he wasn't African. He's not saying he's not one of us. I think it's more of a nationalistic thing. How can we ask for the rights and things of this country, but then state we not American? He's saying, yo, I'm full American, like my people built this country. I heard that argument before. I can't say that I don't agree with it partially. I just think I know a little bit more history than him, where I would still connect myself with Africa. And I yield the floor.
Yeah, I mean, I understand what you're saying, but you know what, like with me, it's like I'm not, you know, he have every right to say he's American, you know, but my thing is, if you say, like, I have an issue with the statement, my ancestors helped build this son of a bee, so why would I say I'm African? But your ancestors that came over here was of African descent, or they was from that continent that we call Africa.
Fact.
And I feel so, I feel like by him saying that he is disowning his family. That just like my father built my family up, build the family structure up, you know, taught us certain things, and then I say that ain't my father, or I'm not a Nelson. I'm such and such. I'm such and such because I left my home and went and stayed with somebody else. So now I'm gonna disown my father because I'm somewhere else now. That's not my father. That's not my father. He didn't raise me the rest of my life. Or I didn't live with him my entire life, or I never lived with him at all. So that makes me not my father. So I just have a problem when people disown their heritage. They disown their ancestors. They disown their great grandmother, their great grandfather. I just have an issue with that. And then with him making that statement, I have the issue is that, like I'm saying, he may not know. So he's saying he's a Geechee, right? So anybody that knows the Geechee or the Gullah Geechee or the Gullah and the Geechee language or dialect, right? And he's born and anybody and you know that he's from South Carolina, and they have those low islands there, and that is where if you go to South Carolina, North Carolina, you go to certain parts of Florida, you go to a certain part of Georgia, they have those low islands where you got the Gullah Geechee people are. The differences is between the dialects when we talk about the language. But those people that actually was brought to those places that I was talking about, those people are his ancestors. They come from Africa. The Gullah Geechee people are a mix of ethnic groups. Those people are Mindi people. Those people are Va Piso people. The Kono, the Kissi, the Limba. So you know the Congo. When we talk about the Gala, a lot of those people that came into Sierra Leone and Liberia come from out of Central Africa. So his go ahead.
Touch on that name, somebody.
Go ahead.
I want to add something to that. That's a common misconception within I won't say the Black conscious community, but the community of people. You know what I'm saying? We study and read and learn African history. One of the biggest misconceptions is that, you know, the Gullah Geechee is lock and stock from Sierra Leone. A lot of people think that, but that's because the president of Sierra Leone in the 90s, he came to South Carolina, to the Gullah Geechee Islands, and he spoke to them in the Sierra Leone Creole, which sounds exactly like, it's a video on YouTube. It's a documentary called The Language We Cry In, or something to that effect. The Language We Cry In, something to that effect. But it's a European scholar and historian and linguist. He put the documentary together, and he flew the president of Sierra Leone out here, and he was speaking to them, you know what I'm saying, in the Creole, and he understood all what the elders were saying. They were talking just like he was in Sierra Leone. He said, I understand everything y'all saying. So from that point and that connection, everybody, you know, say, you know, they Sierra Leone. But when you look at the historical record, the Gullah Geechee people are predominantly from Central Africa, from what you call Angola today, in the Democratic Republic of Congo, primarily. When you go, it's a book, Lorenzo Dow Turner. When you look at Lorenzo Dow Turner book, and you look at the Gullah Geechee
good book, by the way,
language work that he did, you would see that the majority of the words, the names, personal names, place names, most of their prayers, ancestor stories, you can trace them directly back to the Congo.
Hey, bro, let me ask you a question about that, because you know, it seems like you know a lot about that Gullah Geechee stuff. I don't really know too much. I know Kofi do, but how long? Because the Gullah Geechee, they was like an isolated people, right, on the island or whatever, or wherever they was at, right, when they came over here.
Yeah, they was isolated, and I'll let you go in. They was isolated. The reason why a lot of the Gullah Geechee people, they you know, some of them are Christians, but when they practice Christianity, it has a lot of African traditions rooted in them. And the reason why a lot of it was untamed, they was isolated, is when you go and you study Sierra Leone, you study Liberia, those different ethnic groups over there, in that particular spot, they were farmers. They were master of cultivating rice. So they was targeted for a specific skill set. And when you look at Lonzo, or whatever his name was, the last person that owned Bones Island, he made a deal with a person over here in order to get those rice plantations together. Because when you look at those sea islands, those are like swampy areas, and you look at those places in Liberia and Sierra Leone, that climate is the climate in over here in Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, and in certain parts of Florida. That same climate and geographical area is the same as in Liberia and Sierra Leone, where it's, you know, to cultivate rice in, right? So they was already immune to malaria and yellow fever. So when you look at so it was isolated because a lot of the slave masters or the slave owners, they did not have their houses on those sea islands because they wasn't immune to malaria and yellow fever. So this is the reason why those places was isolated, and they was basically taking care of the plantation themselves. It was on a particular part of the year where the slave masters would come to the plantations. But most of the time, the Gullah Geechee people was on these isolated islands, low islands at that time, because they was immune to malaria and yellow fever. But go ahead, Akunfum.
Yeah, you right, bro. You right. I was gonna say that. I was gonna say the almost exact same thing you said. But also they were isolated not only from having a direct acculturation from Europeans because of what you said, from yellow fever and being on the islands, but it was also isolated because before World War I, they didn't have a bridge. It was no bridge going across from the islands to the mainland to South Carolina. So they were isolated.
So these Geechee people, they know they African, right? The people that's living on this isolated island, like they know they African people, right?
Yes, a lot of them know. Go ahead.
But they do. But lately, I say in the last couple of years, you're getting a lot of propaganda that's coming from one of their spokes part people that's saying, we acknowledge our African ancestry, but we have, Native American roots as well with certain Native American tribes, and some people are taking that at liberty and running with it. You know what I'm saying? They're cutting off the whole African thing. Brother Fode, Chief Fode, the one Blak Panther talked to a couple of days ago. He been lately. He been trying to combat all that. So I don't know if you talked about it on Blak Panther Corner, but
yeah, he talked about it a little bit yesterday.
Yeah. They've been he been trying to make the connect and getting people to come back to Sierra Leone and stuff like that. And he getting a lot of kickback, a lot of pushback from the leaders. You know what I'm saying? That's over the Gullah Geechee people in South Carolina. He getting a lot of kickback at them, making up all kind of stories about them and all type of stuff. So it's a thing. It's a thing now. It's becoming a thing now, where a lot of the younger generation, they're not identifying with African no more. And
and this is my another question though, because y'all answering the question, y'all just going along with it. So I don't want to get off track. So like, this is my other question. How does one know he's Geechee? Like is there a DNA test and you find, like, how do you know if you Gullah Geechee or not?
Nah, it's based on lineage. If you know what I'm saying, if you do your family ancestry genealogy, and you go back in the record books, you know what I'm saying, if your family lived, you know what I'm saying, in the Gullah Islands for a good portion of time, which a lot of African Americans, that's true, because you gotta understand when the cash crop switched from rice and tobacco to cotton, a lot of them people in them areas were took from South Carolina, Virginia, North Carolina, and places like that, and they were shipped to the South, to the deep South, Mississippi, Alabama, to do the cotton. So, like for instance,
where was they shipped from?
They were taken from South Carolina, North Carolina,
and shipped where?
To Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, the deep South.
Okay.
That was after the crop switch, because sugar cane wasn't sustainable enough because it messed the soil up, and you can't turn it over too many times, or you would start getting shorter yields of sugar cane. And also too, the life expectancy for an African who was in the sugarcane fields was like 7 years. So using the field 7 or 8 years, you would probably drop dead in there on your 8th year. So they were losing money that way, and it wasn't profitable. So they started to get into that cotton. So they was getting a lot of people out of there and shipping them to Mississippi. Now, like I said, a perfect example is my own family. My great-great-great-grandmother, we call her Momo, which is a Bakongo word. We call her Momo. My great-grandma called her Momo, her mother. She will always tell my grandmother and my great-grandmother when they were younger that they were Geechee people, that her mother and father were Geechee. But she was born in Mississippi. Her paternal grandfather got shipped from South Carolina to Mississippi for cotton.
So, my thing is though, like, is we doing DNA tests saying or is we doing like, listen, because I'm just trying to figure out the Geechee thing, right? Because we could say the same thing for the people on the other side that's abos. They could be like, my grandma said, and a lot of us said
they can do a DNA test. If that's what I'm saying, you not understand. They can do a DNA test. That's what he's saying.
No. What I'm saying is, are the people like Kofi? You a Geechee, right?
Yeah, I'm a Geechee too.
Right, did y'all do DNA tests to say y'all was Geechee, or y'all doing my grandma said I was Geechee?
No. I did DNA tests. I did DNA tests that puts me back to a specific place, and then doing my geology, like percentage of my ancestry comes from Sierra Leone. I have cousins that actually goes to Sierra Leone every year. No, I don't know if they went last year during the pandemic, but they go every year to Sierra Leone. And even talking, even just tracing some of the things that I've been doing, where they ended up at. Like an example, oh boy, that we interviewed when I was doing the Gully Geechee presentation. Not I am my brother's keeper, but dang, I can't think of his name. Come to find, huh?
My boy Fude?
No, not Fude, but it was I interviewed them a while. I went interviewed them a while back here.
Geechee marker, man. What's the marker for Geechee?
Listen, know what I'm saying with the marker. See, you know what I'm saying is you not understanding. We're not.
I'm messing with y'all. Calm down.
Right, because I'm saying you trying to put us in the boat of we like the elbows. We like
listen, I'm not putting y'all in that boat. I'm really trying to understand because, like, for real, I'm really asking to understand. But because the brother just made it reminded me of that, so I'm like, okay,
right?
How are we saying we Geechee? Like, are we doing a DNA test? If we are doing a DNA test, like, is there a marker? Like, if I got X, Y, and Z marker, that means I'm come from this tribe in Africa, which means I'm Gullah Geechee over. Like, how's we determining it? Like, what on a science level?
No, the Geechee, they're genetically African American. The only distinctness is the culture, what they eat, and the language.
Right, but listen.
Now that makes sense.
Yeah, but listen, you can, from a genetic standpoint, you can approach it like this. Like I said, my great-great-grandmother, Momo, right? We have an oral history of them saying that we Geechee. Now I heard this all while I was growing up. I never knew what it meant. I didn't understand I didn't get it. I never really put no weight to it. It's just something that we knew. I never connected to Africa or none of that when I was younger. It's just something that I knew. But it took me to do my family genealogy, and then I took a DNA test. And when I did my DNA test, and I started looking at more family records, I found out that Momo's, my great-great-grandmother, her great-great-grandmother was a woman named Bana. And she was sold from Sierra Leone in 1808. And she was Timne. Now, the Timne, when it comes to Sierra Leone, the Timne and the Mande, like Kofi said, are of a highest percentage of Africans who were brought to South Carolina.
Right.
Now, the Gullah Geechee is an identity that they collectively, all the ethnic groups of Africans that came to South Carolina, it's something they collectively agreed on to call themselves.
Okay, see, I never knew that.
Right. And now, when you dealing with when you dealing with the Gullah Geechee, I didn't mean to break your wisdom. Dealing with it, like I said, the Gullah Geechee people are multiples of different ethnic groups, but majority, like he said, the Mende and the Timni. But you got like I said, you got the Kissy, which when you talk about the Kissy, and we'll talk about Turner. You know about Dr. Turner, that lived amongst them for several years, right? And was a linguistic. But we'll talk about that in a minute because I want to talk about Kwame's name. But the Gullah Geechee people is a mix of different African ethnic group, but majority here the Mende and the Timni people. And like he said, they did agree upon what they was gonna call themselves once they got over here. Because again, hey, look, I'm Mende, I'm Timni, I'm Kissy, I'm Susu, I'm Limba, I'm Kono. But those people have their own traditions and cultures. But when we got over here, we got to be able to create. That's why I'm saying I don't have a problem with people saying, let's create our own traditions over here. A lot of people have an issue with it. Go ahead.
Okay. And you can find the name, the tribal name Gola or Gullah. You can find that in Sierra Leone and the Congo.
That's right.
By the same names, because in the Congo, Ngola was a title for chiefs. Mm-hmm. It was a chieftain title, and it was also a tribal name. It's the exact same thing.
He talked about that in Destruction of Black Civilization. I think that was one of the titles he talked about was Angola. So this is my final on this, because the brother Kwame Brown, he is from South Carolina, so I'm pretty sure his people, they really didn't get moved around like y'all's people did. But it was easy for y'all to connect yourself to the Gullah and straight to Africa. So how is it that it's hard for Kwame Brown, whose people probably never left South Carolina because he still live there, and identify as Gullah, but he don't identify as African? Now, that's shocking to me. That's shocking.
Okay, if you look at if you study those sea islands, let's talk about South Carolina. You have different. Okay, you mentioned we were saying they was isolated at one time, right? And you started to look developers later on. I don't know how old Kwame is, but when development
40, he about 40, 41,
okay.
I think.
So when the development, they started developing a lot of stuff over in there. They started tricking people out the land over there. And it's, correct me if I'm wrong now, Kung Fu. They started tricking people out the land. People started selling land over there because, again, they started to develop certain things over there. So a lot of people lost their land. A lot of people sold their land. A lot of people, they still are still over there fighting for their land because you got developers coming in and trying to take the land and continues to trick the people out of land. So during a certain particular time, I can't remember when actually all this stuff started, a lot of people left those islands at that particular time because they lost their land or they got tricked out of their land or they sold their land. And then at a certain time too, like when you look at same thing in Africa, like when you have a family, certain people went to school. So you wanted your children, that's just like over here. We want our children to have a better opportunity than we do. So we send them to private schools, we send them to charter schools, whatever we think that may be best. We send them off to these different Ivy League colleges. We prep them. So that was the same thing. So a lot of those kids, the youth, like he was saying, they left those islands for better opportunities, or the family left those islands for a better opportunity. And when you leave those islands at a certain age, if I left South Carolina, I left those sea islands at the age of 3 because my mother wanted me to have a better opportunity where I'm able to educate myself. So I left those islands to go to where she might have said the public school might have been the best for me to learn, certain things, what I'm saying, at the age of 3. And then I grow up and I'm in school, and most of the people I talk to are Christians. Most of the people I talk to pledge allegiance to the flag. Most of the people I talk to eat hot wings now. I'm just saying those types of things. So now I'm influenced and now I'm engulfed in the culture after I left there. So now I'm not privy to a lot of things that went on those sea islands because I left at an early age. So a lot of those people left those islands for better opportunities. So that's why some people may not be privy as other people may be, and i.e. Kwame might be one of those people that may have left and went somewhere where he was able to have a better opportunity, where people was able to see Kwame play basketball in high school, and he was able to get drafted while he was in high school, where he was able at the age of 17 to buy his mother a Mercedes-Benz at the age of 17 and buy his mama a house at the age of 17 because she left those sea islands to give her son or her children a better opportunity. So that may be why Kwame may not know too much about the Geechee people and their connection to Africa and how they travel back, or how his people travel. I don't know if they still are. Kung Fu can speak on that, but at one point they was making a pilgrimage back to Sierra Leone every year once the president came during the 90s and connected with them at that particular time. But go ahead, Kung Fu.
I don't see how he don't know that much though if he ain't that far removed from it though.
And also too, even before that, even before Kwame Brown, even before his generation, like I said, if you watch the documentary, The Voice We Cry In, they talked to a lot of Gullah Geechee elders, and I believe this documentary came out in the 90s. I want to say they talked to a lot of Gullah Geechee elders, and you know what I'm saying, they some of them gave a little history, but a lot of them kept hitting on the point that they were losing their culture. And one of the elders they talked to, who was the community leader at the time period, he had to be like in his 60s or 70s in the 90s when they were interviewing him. He said that one of the big things that happened to them that impacted their culture was when that bridge got built. Now, when that bridge got built, they started to bring schools in there. like on the island, bringing schools on the island. And he said in the schools which he attended, they weren't permitted to speak Geechee. They couldn't speak their language. They got penalized for it. Anything that had anything with Gullah Geechee, you could not bring into the schools. And that's one of the tenets and one of the stipulations they had in place to give them a free school out there. And that's what he was saying in the documentary. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of them, even before his generation, probably his grandparents, his mother and them, they probably got, you know what I'm saying? More than likely, they went to some of them schools. It's
Right.
just like the Native American schools here, what they call them normal schools. Where they went to the normal school. Black people did too. We went to the normal schools, Native Americans too, where you couldn't speak your language. Bow. There you go. You couldn't speak your language. You couldn't wear your clothes.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't wear your native hairstyles. That's still today. How many people we see on the news every other week saying they got kicked out of schools, they had dreads or they had braids or something like that all the time.
Yeah.
So it was the same thing back there, but it was more pervasive. You know what I'm saying? Like you was out of there. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the stipulations. And people wanted to get educated. People wanted a basic education because, you know, after the war efforts and stuff like that, if you didn't go to the war, you know what I'm saying, people was focusing on school. So that could be another thing, but you never know. You never know. I mean, you never know. He probably did, you know what I'm saying, get to know the history and stuff like that. But when you get, you know, when you get older, like we all know, when we get older, we don't necessarily stick with what our parents told us and what they taught us. We kind of take a little bit from what they taught us and go with a little bit from our own experiences and what we lean towards as we grow up. So that could be another reason. I can't even say.
Or even but even with Ghana, okay, well, what about the people in Ghana? What about the people in Ghana, the people in Nigeria, the people in Gambia? The same thing. I interviewed Kwame the other day, and he's from Ghana. He was born in DC. He went back to Ghana when he was 6 years old. He lived over there. I think he stayed over there 11 or 12 years. Those people traditions over there are the Akumi, right? A lot of people over there, he said, didn't even know about the Kumi traditions, and they stayed right there in Ghana, and that tradition was born in Ghana. He talks about the same thing with those schools. He said he went to a school. He said it was frowned upon for them to practice that tradition. It was frowned upon for them to even speak their indigenous language, Twi. That was frowned upon. You could not speak Twi in their school education. They educated you on what they wanted you to learn about. And they frowned upon anything that deals with the indigenous culture. So they didn't teach the children that went to school, to these Christian schools, about their traditions. They taught them their way of life. So even the people in Ghana don't even know about the Abusa. And it was created in Ghana. So it's the same thing when you look at Kwame. Kwame's in South Carolina. He's no different than a person in Ghana. He's no different than the people in Nigeria. You got people in south and southern parts of Nigeria don't even know nothing about the traditions of the Igbo people, the Odinani. Yeah. These people saying they're Christians and Muslims.
Is they claiming it though?
Is they claiming what?
Is they claiming the tradition that they don't know of?
No, they're not. No, they're not.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you can't compare that because Kwame claiming to know that shit. Like, he claiming Geechee. So I just don't see how you can claim Geechee but disassociate yourself with African. I don't get it.
Like I don't know who said it earlier, but he don't know what the fuck he's talking about. That's what it really. He confused. That's what
he confused.
That's what it really.
He confusing me. He confusing me.
I see.
I don't know about shit.
It's that mama's cooking.
Black people want to be African. Black people want to be African when it benefit them.
Yeah.
Right. I'm like, hold on, bro.
That's what it is. Because guess what? If they ever sign that reparations bill, you're gonna have everybody and their mama taking DNA tests, genealogy. You're gonna have white people taking the test. You're gonna have Chinese people taking the test.
Niggas gonna get coupons for them ancestry tests. I got food stamps. How much y'all take? Y'all give me two tests for some food stamps.
Hey, it's gonna be balls to the wall. We all African. I got African in my family. You know, that's what it is. Black people want to be African for pay.
Yeah,
You
but
want to
see,
be
that
African
shit ain't gonna
for the
happen. That
benefits of it.
reparation shit, like they ain't got the
Yeah,
money to do that. Like they can't just create. We're not even gonna get into that. But
no, that's a whole other can of worms.
yeah, 'cause I'll go
Yeah.
down deep.
Yeah, you will. I'm looking in the chat. Dogon SS. He said he does not have Neanderthal DNA. Sorry. You got a
Hey,
DNA
dude,
test? You got a
he
DNA
in
test,
the
Dogon SS?
he in the chat talking about
I think,
cavemen and
that's a
all that.
pseudo.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm
this
looking at
is
this.
That's a
I
pseudo.
have Neanderthal blood in me,
yeah. We
Dogon.
African Americans, bro.
Yeah,
You probably got some
yeah, he
Neanderthal in
got
you,
some
bro.
Neanderthal in
Sorry to
him.
break it to you, my nigga, but
Yeah,
you got it.
Yeah,
yeah.
right. Hey, I'm 90% African, so the other 10 is funny. You know what I'm saying? It's funny money. You got some funny money. You ain't 100. Ain't no African American gonna take no test, and that is gonna come back 100% African. Nobody. It ain't gonna happen.
That's a fact.
Even Europeans here on average, they have about 5 to 10% sub-Saharan African ancestry.
That's a fact. I know somebody that got 5%. A white person.
And also to correct,
Hey,
Neanderthal is not
I know a nigga got like
caveman, bro.
20%.
Neanderthal is
Nah.
not caveman.
Right.
We were in caves way before Europeans were in caves. Our ancestors was in caves way before Europeans was in caves. So you got to pick another argument, bro, because the Europeans gonna tear your ass up.
Yeah, you see Chavis ass gone. So
Then they just find
Look at South African cave art.
South Africa. Yeah,
you can look at.
35.
You can look today. They still in certain caves in West Africa today.
That's a smart tactic to live in the caves, especially we can avoid predators and stay warm.
Yep, avoid harsh climate and predators.
Too.
Yep.
So, and the weather too. It's hot than a bitch in Mali. You get it's like Arizona. That's why I like Arizona so much. It's like Arizona. If you can slice Arizona out, that shit look like Mali, Senegal. It's straight up heat here. I mean, on your head, it'd be 10 o'clock at night. It'd be 102 degrees still.
Damn. He's sweating. It's pitch black out.
Pitch black, no sun, bro. It'd be 102. I woke up one night at like 1 o'clock in the morning. It was like 95 degrees. I'm like, God.
Yeah, y'all AC, y'all got some. I think like some of the houses they built out there, the air is like within the roof or some shit like that. I don't know.
No, that's that African adobe. That's that African adobe building. Something else that we brought here from West Africa, from the extreme West Africa. The adobe building, even though adobe is it's an Arabic word, but it's a common word within West African language. When you see the kind of that stucco mud kind of building style, that's the adobe style, and they did that because it keeps the heat out and it keeps it cool in. And then
is it efficient?
Yeah, it's energy efficient.
Hell yeah, it's definitely Energy Star rated.
Oh yeah, like even now, like in the building I stay in, that's the style of the building. And when you in shadier parts of the building, it can be 102 outside, and in that shaded part, it'd be like 80 degrees. You know what I'm saying? So,
hey, Dogon, is y'all want to bring Dogon SS on the panel, man? He wants to come on the panel.
Come on, Dogon, break it down. Shit.
Oh my goodness, man! Let's shout out to Dogon. We gonna put the thing in here, brother. We got another. You got 10 minutes, brother. We gonna end the show in 10 minutes, man. We gonna let you on.
Dogon. We start an after party if y'all want to get it, keep it popping. Cause Kofi gonna go eat.
Yep, I gotta eat. I got a whole bunch of stuff I need to be trying to do.
I got my duck going right now.
Yeah. The link is Dogon SSO. And if you hadn't subscribed to the channel, my brother, peace, brother Fitz. Shout out to brother Fitz, man. And him, man, another one of the pseudo killers, man. Shout out brother Fitz, man. How you doing? Dogon SS. you hadn't subscribed to, brother, it's like my first time seeing you on here, man. Please subscribe to the channel. Anybody else that's in the chat that hasn't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel for us. Please subscribe. So the link is in the chat, Dogon SS. So we'll wait on Dogon SS to get in the chat. And I don't know what he maybe he want to debunk us talking about the caveman or Neanderthal blood. I don't know. Maybe he's on the perspective what's the brother shoot. Oh, I've been out the YouTube world for so long. What's Inky? You know, Inky talks about the rhesus blood monkey, and there he is. Let me let him in. Peace,
Hey, what's happening? Peace, y'all. Peace, y'all.
What's that, the Dogon?
Hey, man, I'm new to this, bro. I'm seeing what y'all talking about. Y'all having a different kind of conversation, man. So I don't have all the facts, brother. You know what I'm saying? I can't proclaim. So hell, I was born in Miami, so
Yeah, I was about to say, you Florida boy. I see the hair.
yeah, so there was slavery going on before. There's slavery in my ancestry, so I know for a fact that I ain't 100%. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, what I meant by the whole caveman and all that other stuff, man, and, you know, I was kicking that stuff that y'all was saying like right before I got in here. You know, the rhetoric. You know what I mean? But all I was trying to get at was saying that, you know, and when I say caveman, bro, I wasn't talking about, you know, I know how people lived in caves and all types of ways of living. So, and I wasn't, you know, talking smack about how our people lived in different places, but I was basically getting in there with the whole original talk. And because one thing that I did notice, because, you know, I went to school for all of that stuff and, you know, got my degree in black psychology at FAMU and stuff. And, you know, I went through the whole thing and, you know, so I know what's going on. I know all the scholars and all of that stuff. And so, but one thing that I did notice is that there is a division that goes on between our community when it comes to stuff like that. Once we start claiming, you know, one set over another, you know, and versus just saying that, hey, bro, nobody knows what happened. And just like y'all said, hey, man, you don't know if you have Neanderthal DNA. Well, you don't know if you're just strictly African. And so my thing is that, yeah, you know, everybody can trace the origins back to the motherland and all of that stuff. But at the same time, there's an aspect of, hey, man, there were original people all over the place before there were any other kind of people. And so my thing is that once there were other kinds of people and then blood started getting mixed, so how that happened, brother, I can't tell. I wasn't there. But all I know is that there's a lot of people that have, you know, with this thing that we call melanin, and there's a lot of melanated people, and those people that have the melanated spirit within them, they carry themselves, you know, in a certain kind of way, in a certain kind of light. And so my thing is, I resonate with those who are melanated and carry that spirit of melanated, you know, stuff within them. Now there's dudes that are melanated and they'll sell you out just as quick as another man would. And for those people, you know, just because they're melanated doesn't mean that, you know, they're down for the cause. So there's all kinds of things, you know, that play into this thing in life. So I just didn't want to relegate. My whole thing is in the chat, and I wasn't really getting at y'all talking. It was more or less the mods, and I'm not hating on the mods too. They're doing their job. So it was just, I was having a discussion with the mods because the mods was, you know, they had their opinions and I was just voicing mine. And my whole thing is, it's a lot to say in words, as you can clearly see. I'm just rambling, but I can't put all that in text. So all I was just trying to ask pointed questions of what is African, you know what I'm saying? You know, and why, and if it's a situation, if we want to get down to the real semantics of things, why are we still running around calling ourselves African? As we all know in this panel, is that, you know, that's not the original name of the place. So if we want to get down to the nitty gritty, well, you know, just call things the way that they should be called. You know what I mean?
So your question is, why are we using African? Because that's not the original name, correct?
No, I mean, yeah, I mean, not so much. That ain't my overall burning question. You did, but my whole thing is because I use it all the time too, and I still say black, even though I know black is not what we are. You know what I mean? So I know it for the sake of carrying conversation and other things like that, but you know, I don't want to get into a semantics, you know, conversation. But my whole thing was, and the reason why I asked that question is because that's the kind of place I'm coming from, to spark a different kind of discussion. Because, you know, because Kwame, you know, everybody doesn't have, you know, they're not as well read and stuff like that. And so, yeah, he may have said a situation where, yeah, I'm not African, you know, that needs to be addressed, you know, to a degree. But at the same time, and I'm not saying that you guys were, but it's not a situation where we feel like we should, toss somebody up under the bus because they're ill-informed about a specific word or a title or something like that. You know what I mean?
Right, I feel you, but our thing is, if you claiming Geechee, then you
Yeah.
should know what Geechee is. You should be able to say, oh, well, there's so many Africanisms in Gullah Geechee culture because they are descendants of West Africa, West and Central Africa. So to try to disconnect yourself with your ancestors, that's like counterproductive. That's showing that maybe you don't know much about Geechee culture.
Right. Yeah,
Right? You understand?
he was definitely speaking from a place of ignorance because he's claiming it almost everything.
Oh
And then to
yeah.
say that, and to say that, I'm not that is, it's a little, I get that. And me, my people, they all from the islands and stuff like that, and St. Croix, and my people was Maroons and all of that good stuff. So I was able to trace my history as much as I could. But it's still a situation where, I mean, I get the whole thing of Africa and Africans and all of that stuff, but I'm also, one of those people that I don't believe in the propaganda that, like I forgot one of the dudes were talking earlier where they was basically saying like none of, there were no slave ships and none of that stuff. I believe that there was all of that stuff, but I also feel like it was an amalgamation of both, of where there was just people that looked like us still that lived over here on this side, and there was, people in Africa and all of that stuff. And my take on slavery from the stuff that I was looking and my own independent ways of looking at it, how it was, is that slavery was more or less concentration camps, prisons, if you will. And so what they did was they went around and started, grabbing up all the indigenous people. My great grandmama, and all that stuff. They were Seminole and all that stuff. But we all know that Seminole just mean runaways and stuff like that. So slave catchers and all of that stuff. So I just looked at it as the prison system that they were basically running around, capturing people that was already in the states and stuff like that, bringing some people in from Africa as well. But some people, I feel like it's just a mixture of both. And I feel like there's a situation where a lot of us, because like I said, I went to FAMU and all that stuff. So I caught all of that stuff. Basically like, hey, man, we're all African, we're all that stuff. And I feel like there's within our history and the history that is being promoted out there is I feel like there's truth to it, but there's also another story that could be told. And I feel like and all the research that's been done, there still could be more done to find out the more authentic and genuine truth. I went to an HBCU, but my HBCU was given to us for a particular reason by a particular set of people, and it's still controlled by those people. At least my school was. It was still funded by. So yes, what I'm saying. So the rhetoric and the certain things that were being taught in those schools were they still have their lane. And so if we come up believing certain things from those types of schools, then we're still missing the point more or less. So after I got out of school, I was doing my own independent research when it came to other things. Not to say that I know everything, but I'm just saying like listen to guys like y'all and bouncing around the community, being everywhere, just gathering things here and there. It was a situation where I learned a lot, but it was a lot of the stuff that I learned was being taught to me that way, and I was being trained to learn a certain way. So I don't know, I'm all over the place, but I appreciate what y'all doing. I wasn't trying to be beefing or I wasn't trying to do nothing like that, but I just wanted to give another perspective, on the conversation. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So let me say this, and I yield the mic to one of the other brothers so they can build on some of your points. I just want to say that when we dealing with melanin, we have to look at it from a scientific perspective, and there's different types of melanin. So first of all, like my brother Shawn in the chat said, all humans have some form of melanin, whether it's we all got neuromelanin. Then you got pheomelanin, which is responsible for your eye color, the reddish color of certain people's hair. You have eumelanin, which is brown pigmentation, and a black. You have a brown eumelanin, you have a black eumelanin. The black eumelanin for your hair, that's creating that pigmentation. The brown pigmentation would be the brown eumelanin for your skin. So what we have to understand is nobody owns a monopoly on skin color. So we get this brown eumelanin, this brown skin pigmentation from living in certain geographical regions. The closer an indigenous population is to the equator, the more UV intense that the sun rays will be. The more closer you live as an indigenous population to the equator, the more you have to deal with more and more ultraviolet rays. So your protection from those ultraviolet rays are those melanocytes that produce this skin pigmentation called eumelanin, or generally called melanin, as we call it in the conscious community, but it's the specific term is eumelanin. So any population living close to the equator is going to have some form of intense skin pigmentation, some brown skin pigmentation. So that doesn't mean that they're all necessarily related genetically. That just means they all came from a geographical location that's close to the equator, or they had a certain diet that helped produce this skin pigmentation. So I just want to clear that up, that doesn't mean that we're related. Like, okay, you can see over there in India, there's dark skinned people over there too. They're not necessarily related to African Americans, quote unquote, like me and you. They're not necessarily related to Aboriginal Australians, like, you know what I'm saying? It's skin pigmentation don't mean you're related at the end of the day. But I yield the floor there.
Yeah, I'm just gonna pull something up real quick, just show him, man. You can break it down if you want to break it down, but I just want to show him the skin map. Everybody's saying show the skin map. So I wish I could show a better one, but I'll deal with this one here. Hold on. Let me share my screen. Go back over there. Let me share my screen. I wish if somebody can find a better picture, find a better picture. Let me see. Damn. Hold on, let me share my screen too. But yeah, find a better one, because this one here is too small. And I got one on my other laptop saved, but I'm working from off of this one here. It's not saved on this one here. Let me go to over here. Let me see what I can do. All right. You see this skin map right here? And find another one. Can y'all see that? Can y'all see that? It's not that big, is it?
I can see it pretty good.
I can't see nothing, man. I can't even see the Sutek gonna find a better one, man, so we can blow it up, man, and show it to you. I'm gonna start sharing my screen, and I'm gonna see if I can find a better one too.
This the same one, but it might be a little bit bigger.
All right. Let me go. I'll start sharing my screen. You can share your own. He's gonna share his screen. We just want to show you, man, what we're talking about when he's talking about.
Let me see. Can y'all see that?
The different skin tones.
Full skins.
Yeah, it's way better than mine. Okay.
Yeah. So okay, you see the equator right here. My cursor moving on the left. As you see, these darker skin pigmentations are coming from, and you look at Africa. That's a great example. They're coming from in between these two zones, the Tropic of Cancer, or these two lines, the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn, and the equator is right in the middle. You see those dark skin populations right there in the middle, right at the equator. And you see in North Africa it's get lighter. You see in South Africa it get lighter. You see these Aboriginal Australians. That's why they're so dark, because they're right there close to the equator. You know, you have these populations over here, and they're not necessarily going to follow that same rule because they migrated from somewhere else, right? They migrated all the way over here from East Asia and came out through the Bering Strait and came all the way down from, Canada and all that. So that's a different situation. They migrate. These people in Africa, they've been in Africa. They stayed in Africa. So this is the example that we're going to use. So you see these populations over here, they not related to these dark skinned populations over here. They just dark skinned because they live in a certain geographical location and they need that skin pigmentation to protect themselves from the harmful UVA rays. So that's basically all I wanted to get through with that.
Right.
So
So
when you
that's
say original people all across the planet, I don't know what exactly
what
you mean when you say that, but
what did
these
well
people are not related.
right. So all right. So let me ask you. So where did life what continent did life first begin?
Well,
We
human
science,
life
yeah,
began in Africa.
it begins in Africa. That's right. I mean, that's a scientific fact. We can
And
prove
so
that all day long that
not
humanity
not
started in Africa.
no, and then that I agree with. So I'm not disagreeing with you guys there. So when those original people from Africa eventually migrated into other areas and then lost their pigmentation due to the fact of they didn't need it for the climate, are those people still from Africa or no? Is my question.
Once you settle, see, then you're dealing with evolution. Once you settle and once you move away from that parent population and you go somewhere else and you settle, your genetics start to mutate.
Right.
So once you start to become different people. So that's something you have to get into. You get into, I think, genetic drift, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Look into that because that'll explain to you how once you start moving away from your parent population, you start becoming a different people genetically.
Yeah.
You don't stay the same forever.
Right, and it doesn't happen overnight. Your DNA
Right.
makes minute
How
changes.
long? How long would y'all say? How long would y'all say though? Like, what would be? That's interesting. You said that, Sute. What would be a given time period you say that we can say this population change? Like, how many years would you say?
That specifically, I wouldn't be honest if I just threw out an answer. I would. I don't know,
Are you talking about
but
for haplogroup or for autosomal?
For us to consider a change, like these are different people.
Yeah, he's talking about haplo groups.
Oh,
yeah,
haplogroups that'll take thousands.
Yeah, that'll take a long time because it's generations over generations where your DNA begins to make minute changes, and those minute changes, it's just a survival mechanism, and it's to survive in those different geographical locations because each geographical location that you in is different, and just like we are what we consider Africans in America, we don't particularly look like the Africans and on the continent. We don't look like continental Africans because we're in a different geographical location. The air pressure is different. The food that grows in the grounds is different than it grows over there. So it's so many different factors, So over time, like you said, your DNA begins to make minute changes because when you look at my haplogroups and you from my mother and my father, they was in the Great Bantu migration from East Africa, but their haplogroups they changed over time. They
Well,
had,
see, y'all about to get into some shit, right? Because it's going back to the Kwame thing, right? So, like, how long? And it got something to do with us over here, Native Americans. How long do we have to be over here to consider ourselves not Africans? Because
Hey,
y'all
I can
said
go
we
to.
gotta be. Hold on, wait. Let me finish. I want the brother African AF to answer this as well. Y'all said now we gotta be displaced from our parent gender population for thousands of years. So because we can't keep saying we African if we never go back. You feel me? So let's just deal with that science y'all just brought up, dealing with the different. Y'all said haplogroups too, and I know we got different haplogroups because of mixing and all that. But like, how long can we say we African Americans over here?
Because basically, African American is not a genetic ethnic group.
Well, let me take that back. Let me take that back. Let me take that back so y'all can answer this question clearly. How long? Because I don't want y'all to dodge this because y'all know what I'm saying.
Y'all get what you're saying, bro.
How long? Because we talk. The brother said Neanderthal, so the Neanderthal. Let's just use the
Let
Neanderthal.
me answer the question.
Hold on, Shawn. Let me ask the question. we say Neanderthals come out of Africa, but they continental drifting, but we know all life started in Africa. How long can we say we over here to where we disconnect from that parent generation?
With
How
us,
long?
All right.
and
We
with
would
us
never
in
lose
America
our
is
culture.
different
We would never
because we
lose our
still
cultural
stay
identity.
within our genetic.
No, we ain't
Within
talking
our
about
genetic.
culture, Sean. You coming out here
I
talking about
know
No,
that,
culture?
no,
but
What
I'm
we
not.
talking
no.
about?
I'm not done. But
No, we say in our
Pufu was
genetic.
talking.
We say in our genetic pools. We didn't really. I know people like to say I'm mixed with this, I'm mixed with that. We didn't really mix with people like that. You know what I'm saying? On average, the average African American only has about 0.5% Native American ancestry. That's after 400, 500 years.
0.05.
The
Some
average
got
African
0.2.
American only
Let me
has
go back to mine.
between
I got mine
about
pulled up.
15 and 50% European ancestry. That's after 500 some years. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
the average
we
African
still stay
American has
within, you know what I'm saying,
75%.
our genetic pools. We kept marrying with each other. We kept having children with each other, and so on and so forth. It wasn't that interrupted. Now, when you got population groups that move out of continent and go into a totally different continent, they get swallowed up by the people that's there. They get, you know what I'm saying, you won't, you know what I'm saying, you won't, after a couple of generations, they won't be there no more. They
Well,
won't be who they
so
were
what
prior
about
to.
us though? Because we ain't never get swallowed up by the
We
people
never
that was here.
moved. We never moved. The
We
African,
never
when you
moved,
look at a
and we never
map
lost.
of
We
the
never
United
lost our
States
genetic
and look at
makeup.
the African American population in America, we're still primarily in the same spots in the country where we got dropped off in. The vast majority of us. You know what I'm saying? So, and we still today, black women, black men had babies. My mama had 6, and I got 8 myself. You know what I'm saying? So we still copulating with each other. You know what I'm saying? It's not, you won't see no big you won't see a big genetic variance among us.
Man,
And
you
on
said
top
you
of
get
that,
8?
us being Africa,
hold on.
Africa has the
93.
most diverse genetic properties of any continent on the planet. You know what I'm saying? So we already know that. It's like a crayon box. If you get a crayon box with all, you know, the big one with the 3 rows with the crayon sharpener on there, right? When you leave out of Africa, that drops down. By the time you get to America, you're gonna have a 4-pack, you're gonna have a 3-pack of Applebee's crayons. You got no genetic diversity whatsoever within your population. We still got genetic diversity in our population. We say African, you know what I'm saying, but within Africa, us being African ourselves, we got a whole variety of different African genetics within our own population here. You know what I'm saying? That's reinforcing us to not get totally genetically wiped out.
Okay.
Go ahead, Shawn. Go ahead. You want to get in?
It's just that simple that we
I know
just
Sean
ain't.
gonna go in. Let Sean. Where you go? Go ahead, Sean.
There you.
You can't hear me. But no, it's just that simple. We never lost that admixture within our own. Like, remember, we've been segregated, right? When we got here, we were enslaved, and then we were pretty much segregated on plantations. We wasn't admixing with the population. There was not enough Indian or European
I
coming
can't hear him
into
for some
us
reason.
to even change anything.
Yeah,
So
but see, but listen though, but Kofi stated earlier, and we was talking about the Neanderthals based on different environments. That even the environment around them, not even admixture, the environment is gonna change your DNA.
It
The
is.
environment. So like, y'all just dealing with one aspect of it. I'm talking
No,
about us being over here.
the environment not going to change. You're going to adapt to your environment. So
I
you
agree.
have adaptation. The adaptation is not going to based on the climate. If we look at the United States and where it's located geographically, we would have to move outside of the climate that we're in order for us to really change. We still in warm climates, and then some of us are in cooler climates. So we still gonna reflect light skin, brown skin, dark skin, all shades. So there's no way that we would lose our genetic makeup based on the way where we sit right now in the United States. We would actually have to literally sleep with nothing but other people in order to mix that genetic pool up so much so that we can't
I
even
can't hear
relate
Shawn for
back.
some reason.
You might have to pop out. You might have to pop out and come back in a kung fu because we
I can't hear him for some
him.
reason.
We can hear him loud and clear.
Yeah, we can.
Nah, I'm just like just based off that, like, how long can we be over here before we disassociated with it to where it's like, that was thousands of years ago. Our people settled.
Nah, they gonna speed it up though, Satep. I'm gonna tell you how they gonna speed it up, because they're gonna make it a cultural adjustment. You see what I'm saying? We ain't gonna bleed out no other way, but they're gonna make it a identity. They're gonna make it more of an identity issue, because what they're doing now is passing laws to where they can't teach certain things about history in schools. So you do that to underage kids, and you keep those laws in place primarily in some southern states, and then going toward like Utah, they doing it in a couple of other places where they're trying to rewrite history, so to say, or not allow history to be taught. That's the only way that they're going to be able to push this whole thing about, this inclusion. We've always been here and blah, 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 blah. And we can't talk about the white man and what they did to us. But no, we wouldn't see it in our lifetime. We wouldn't even see it in 500 years, because what's happening is there's not a lot of admixing going on. And the admixing that is going on ain't changing our DNA enough, because the average African American is still holding true to 74 to 75% of sub-Saharan African DNA. Even though it's an amalgamation of different ethnic groups on the continent, you still have, like me, like I'm 75%, but I'm light-skinned as hell.
60.
And huh? Oh no, I know your little yeah, you better mute your mic. Yeah. Yeah, Fonty looking like, hey, but you have that 75, 74, 75% is holding true. So then you gotta take me somewhere else for me to not identify. Like, I have to deny DNA. I have to deny, and I have to stay stuck at genealogy. Oh, I'm only going to go back 3 generations or 4. Or, my grandmama said, you know what I'm saying? You're getting all of that worked up. So, overall, we're not going to lose who we are based on how we move and react. Us, because we still, we slanging iron. We ain't slanging enough, not more than the Mexicans.
You got to thank black women.
Yep, you do.
They still choosing us.
Yeah, they are. They still choosing.
Yeah, we know it ain't gonna happen in our time. I'm just wondering, like, how
it's gonna take. Yeah, we would have to. What I would say, bro, is we would have to come out of America and be isolated somewhere else. They would have to send us somewhere else.
So let me ask a question about South America, and for those people that are still in that belt, in that equator, like right on top of it. And so we already know that there's melanated people down there in South America, but due to the European moving over this way, there's there's people in South America with a lighter hue. And so my thing is my question would be, over time, since those people stay in that equator area, would they eventually just turn African over time? Just from living in that environment. You know what I mean?
No.
Yeah, you don't turn African from living in a geographical.
It's not a skin tone.
Yeah.
Okay, to make it plain, to be honest, bro, African, Africa, the way we do it, it's just a marker for us, right? A place that we could point to, direct to, and identify with. But inside of that, Africa, because it wasn't homogeneous, it was a heterogeneous society. Inside of that is an amalgamation Like we're African American because we are an amalgamation of different Central and Western African countries. You see what I'm saying? You had a mixture, a pot, gumbo on those slave ships that crossed the Atlantic. And inside of that, genetically, we make up, different groups. So no. Our Africanness is in our story, our struggle, our ups, our downs. Is all of that. It's an amalgamation of different things. Now, technically speaking, or scientifically speaking, everybody is African, but that's a fundamentalist argument. So when you go in and you set aside the fundamentalist argument and you deal with the cultural complexities of it, and you look at the diversity on the continent, you will start to single out those Eurocentric or those foreigners that inhabit South Africa, in some certain parts of East Africa, that might be in one spot in Central Africa, that been there for 3 generations. However, all the people on the continent can look at them, look at their culture, look at their languages, look at the way they do things, and identify them as non-African. You see what I'm saying? So when you ask that, like, nah, South America would never be Africa. You know what I mean? Those South Americans are an amalgamation of people in their area. However, in certain parts of South America, right, you have a lot of people that was involved in the slave trade that's up there closer to those coastal lines and near the Atlantic, that are related to us, that have denied their African ancestry, who's trying to reconnect. Now, those people, they have a struggle, they have a story, but they also can take a DNA test, and they actually can be more inclusive to their, their ancestry walking backwards. And just like the Caribbeans and other places all over the diaspora. So when you say, can South Americans be African, which South Africans that we need to talk to? Because a lot, like, we got to get into these countries. If you're just talking about some people in Chile and all that, nah, because the slave trade dropped Black people off, well, Africans off in designated areas to work and till land, whether it's the crop, sugar, what else? All the other resources that they actually was doing, mostly, sugar and tobacco, coffee, and all those other things. Yeah. Right. But you will find, places like that. And I'm gonna tell you another good, have any of y'all seen the documentary Samuel L. Jackson did?
I hadn't seen it.
I saw
on Epix.
I saw it.
Okay, if y'all seen that, that's one of the most powerful documentaries. Escape or something like that.
Let me see. I can look it up real quick. But yeah, hey Shawn, you right, man. That he went in on that. Samuel.
Yeah, he did.
He went with the bullshit. He ain't let them whitewash it or water it down. He went in on that shit. What
he traced his lineage back, was it to the Bamaliki people? Who was
Gabon.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead, Sabo. While he's looking for that, Sabo, you wanted to show your DNA test.
Yes, it's called Enslaved. It's you probably can watch some of it on, I don't know if it's on YouTube, but it might be on YouTube for you to watch. But it is available on demand. I know on Epix and a couple other places. But yeah, he traced it. He do a good job.
Y'all just need to know the name of it.
Yeah, that's it. Enslaved.
Yeah, I'm gonna check it out. Go ahead, Sabo.
Peace, y'all. Peace. What up? I just wanted to share my DNA test real quick because
you ain't showing it now. You off of it now, Sabo.
All right, well, let me pull it back up.
All right, there you go.
And he was talking about all the different.
Peace, Sabio. That's his name. It's not Sambo. Not Sambo.
I didn't call that man Sambo, man.
Call me Sambo.
I thought I heard him.
Okay, Sabio. Okay, I'm sorry, brother.
Hey man, Sambo a good name though. That's the whole story.
Hey, wasn't there somebody on Fido name Sabio?
It is a good name, bro.
No, Sambo is not a good name. Sambo is. I'm gonna tell you what a Sambo is, and see, a lot of people get it confused. They call people that's selling out the race Uncle Tom. Actually, the Sambo that was selling out the race.
Yeah, but
well, let me tell you, the brother Akamfo, he's pretty knowledgeable. He might change your man. That's all I gotta say.
No. I mean, from a I guess from a cultural folk etymology perspective, yeah. But from a cultural perspective, Sambo is an honorary name that was given among the Mende people.
I've heard that too.
Yeah,
I've heard that too. You're not the first person to tell me.
Yeah. It was an honorary. It's an honorary name for an uncle.
And I actually got something that reads that.
Yeah, it's an honorary. It was an honorary name for an uncle. It's Sambo.
Yeah, for uncle. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get into this.
So yeah, what I was gonna show was the breakdown because I heard him talking about. I heard the question asked, "When will we lose? How long will it take?" And this is mine from 23andMe, and I also got one from African ancestry. So they both basically say the same thing. That I'm 90. That I'm African, basically. But Nigerian to be specific. West African. Most of my DNA comes from. The majority of it comes from Nigeria, though, and West Africa. So, what I was going to talk about, what I wanted to do, was actually see when would I ever use my African.
You keep going in and out. I don't know if you
have 3% Native American DNA, as I just showed. I got 0.3. Y'all hear me better?
Yeah, you good now. You real good now.
Can y'all hear me better?
Yeah, we can hear you. Were just going in and out a while ago. You was getting high and then getting low. But you
right.
good.
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah, that's my whack ass headphones. Trying to get better headphones. But yeah, as you see right here, Native American, 3%. So what am I supposed to do with that?
Throw it in the trash.
0.3%.
Start a casino.
I don't think they're gonna let us get that. Not with those zero. I'm 0.8. I'm 0.8.
Start a casino, man.
Oh god.
So what am I supposed to hold on? Is 14.6% European DNA? I mean, which part of this am I supposed to hold on to?
You better holding on to that than
because these are the questions that we need to ask. You know, we don't ask real questions. We let people right. You know, that's what I'm saying. Like, what are we supposed to do as a people? Are we supposed to say that DNA isn't valid, but it's valid when you go to get a paternity test, or if you were gonna go get convicted of a crime that you know you didn't commit, you would want them to do your DNA test. Now, right here it says 94.8%. So what am I supposed to do with that?
And which one is this in here, Sabio?
Am I supposed to just let it go?
I mean, you claim it, you know, you claim it. That's what you are. I mean, that's what I say I am too. And
I mean,
if you're saying something, Sabio, we can't hear.
Talk about for the ones who say that I'm supposed to let this go, or I'm talking about the ones who say that we're not African anymore because of assimilation or been in America for so long. Like, what am I supposed to do with this? This not telling me I'm not African. This not telling me I'm African American. You see, my mixed American is 1.3%.
I'm glad you brought it up. If you're saying something, man, you.
So what are we supposed to do if we're not?
I mean, and that.
I said, what are we supposed to do if we
Nah,
if we don't claim this.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like, I mean, bro, my name, my screen name's Dogon SS. You know, it's an African tribe, bro. I'm all for it. Like I'm not. I mean, I get it, and that's why I resort. That's why I resort to original, and that's why I was having that whole original thing, because it's a thing where the original people of this planet who look like me migrated and populated the entire planet. And so before there was any type
Cause see, I
of
got 3%. I got 3% African American.
before there was any type of other man here, we were the original Asians, we were the original Europeans, we were the original cave people, if you will. We were the original everything. And then due to climate change, then there were, these other types of people. And then from their DNA got changed and all that good stuff. So that's what I say. So, but for the people that look like me, they look like me because they come from these places that's close to the equator, as we talked about earlier. So my thing is, I don't like to get into the semantics because not everybody has the ability to have their their DNA thing pulled up. But one thing about it is when you look at your stuff, most of the stuff comes from African countries or things of that nature, but it's not really European. I would like to see a Europeans on that says they have like 12% or something like that black. So I don't know what he should claim because of whatever, wherever he's from or whatever, but he would only be 12 or 10 or 9% African. But whatever makes up his other constructs is stuff from mutation. But we don't carry that same mutation for a lot of people that have a certain amount of eumelanin, as mentioned earlier. So my whole thing is to eliminate the semantics, to eliminate the, hey, I'm from this set, hey, I'm from this set over here. I just use the term, that's my own personal term, of just saying, hey, bro, aren't we all original? And aren't we all from, the same source? And we're so tied to that same source that there's no need to say that, hey, you got to be this or you got to be that. And, and that was more or less my argument, where it's basically, it's like, hey, bro, we're all brothers at the end of the day. So whether I'm from, from my, 90 something or 80 something % of my stuff come from Nigeria. And brother, I mean, I thought you was my brother, but I guess I'm not. So my whole thing was basically, I was just saying that
I'm not talking about you. I'm not talking about you. I'm not talking about you.
Okay.
I wasn't talking about you, bro.
But yeah, man, and like I said earlier in my conversation,
I wasn't talking about you.
You Gucci. But like I was saying earlier in my thing, man, it's a situation where, and just because we're all, like I say, original, and like I feel like we're all whatever, it doesn't mean that, somebody that has my same complexion or darker, feels the same way about, my people. So it's a situation where, I don't really necessarily, quote unquote, get into color either, due to the amalgamation, due to the diaspora. So my whole thing is that so long as you know that you come from the diaspora, so long as that that your people come from the motherland and all that good stuff, but you so happen to occupy this part of land or occupy this part of land now, my whole thing is all good. And so long as that that the first people that came to America look like me, so long as the people that went to South America look like me, the first people that that went to Asia look like me, then that's the only point. If they migrated from Africa, then the whole thing is that they look, I may be wrong, brother, correct me. But my whole thing is, I felt as though since everything migrated and came from that source, then they all came out looking like me because they needed a certain amount of eumelanin. And due to climate change, and due to, or not climate change, but due to them being in a different climate, then they would have to adapt, and the pigmentation would drop. But my whole thing is that the originality of it all is what we should be hanging on to, especially if we're still carrying that same amount of eumelanin now. You know what I mean?
Well, man, we'll be talking about this all day, man.
I know. I ain't mean to open a can of worms, brother.
No, you good, brother. Okay, man. Okay. We definitely, man, appreciate, man, you coming on, man. Like, anytime you got anything, man, if you want to jump on the panel, if you in here, man, just ask. We'll put the link in here, man, because that's what we're for, man. We all learning from each other, man. And And like Chef said, we all don't know everything. We don't confess to know everything, so we all learn from. Some of us is well studied in particular fields than others, so we lean on each other, and some of us that, that don't know, we just don't know, and and we're humble enough if we put something out there, we can, humbly say, we appreciate you for correcting us, because like I said, we all don't know everything, man. But again, appreciate everybody, man, for tuning in to the show today. We greatly appreciate it, man. Real quick, go to www.sametree different branch publishing company. Again, we have a new company. It is an official company. We are a real publishing company that offer the same thing as these other publishing companies have. So go to the website, see some of our services. Even if you don't want an entire book published and you just want your book edited, we'll edit your book. If you want a book cover, we'll be able to do your book cover. If you want a design for some clothing, we'll do your designs. We'll do your logos for your business. You need flyers, we'll do your flyers. You need a marketing video, we do marketing videos, and we publish the entire book. And the entire book, we use real ISBN numbers.
I went in the advertising, Kofi, man. Yeah,
okay, I got
you. I saw Fortune. I saw Shawn. I'm joking, bro. I'm joking.
Oh, I got you. So yeah, please go check out that website. And then for our publications that we have out now, let me enlarge in this. Go to www.kofipiesie.tv.com. Hold on, I gotta hide this in here. I don't want nobody to see that book yet. But go get the Spears of the Mossi Historical Survey in the Minds of African Warrior Scholars 1. Go get From Spears to Pen, Historical Survey in the Minds of African Warrior Scholars, Volume 2. Go get Spiritual Comeback right here, Historical Survey in the Minds of African Warrior Scholars 3. Go get As I Learn, We All Learn, one of my individual publications. Go get that. As I Learn, We All Learn, sharing information with others, deepen your own knowledge. Shawn's book, From Cocaine to Consciousness. Children book. Let me see. Shawn's children book, One Night Before Bed. My children books, Kalawa's Trip to the Motherland. It is all on www.Kofipiesie.tv.com. Again, that is www.Kofipiesie.tv.com. Also, if you're looking for some cards, go get our educational cards. We got quiz and educational cards. We have face cards of our scholars. I don't know why this thing went dark. Of our scholars, our teachers, our revolutionaries, all on here. Is also available on www.Kofipiesie.tv.com. So go check out both of those websites. Again, www.Kofipiesie.tv.com to get our several publications that we have out now. And also go to Same Tree Different Branch and see the different services and the different projects that we got coming out through the pipeline and outside publications that we got coming soon from our Same Tree Different Branch publications. Again, that is www.Same Tree Different Branch publishing. Again, we appreciate y'all. We appreciate the guests for hopping on the panel. Brothers Dogon SS. Tell them where you're from again, Brother Dogon SS. And if anybody wanted to reach you or link up with you, how could they do that?
Yeah, the name Dogon SS, like you said, and I'm originally from Miami. Right now, I'm in Austin, Texas. But yeah, on all social media platforms, man, as well as YouTube, Dogon SS, man. Y'all can follow me if you like. You know what I mean?
All right, brother Akunfu, which is really not a guest. He's our brother. He's not a guest over here on Kofi Piesie TV. He is a family affiliate of the Mossi Warrior Clan. He is one of my team members. Kung Fu, let them know how they can reach you on all your social media platforms, and how can they get some of your clothing, man, from your clothing line. Put your clothing line out there as well. You still on here, Kung Fu? I guess he done walked away from the thing. But
Is he on here?
Yeah. We hear you.
No, this is 93. I'm looking for.
Go ahead, Fortune. Well, go ahead. Fortune is also not a guest. He's actually a family and affiliate. He is also one of my team members from the Mossi Warrior Clan, the mighty Mossi Warrior Clan. Man, let the people know how they can reach you, man, and how they can get a hold of your music, man, that you got.
Man, I'm just on Facebook. You can look me up, Fortune Belisle, last name Belisle. Fortune like fortune cookie. My music you could just put in my name on YouTube, John Avarice or whatever. But yeah, I was hoping JC or Kung Fu gave that plug because he had an app that he was working on and he had a clothing line. I don't know why he dropped off.
Hey, yeah, he's still in here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I ain't hear you, man. I can't hear y'all over this duck, man. I'm over here making some duck confit. I can hear y'all over this duck, man.
Yeah, Lee, how long you got to cook that duck, man? Oh, also before you do, man, I forgot about this here too, man. Go get Benjamin Njai, Volume 3, The Killmonger's Corner of the Conscious Community Pan African Journal Journal Volume 2. I'm also in there as well as Shawn. Kung Fu, you in there too, ain't you? I ain't even ready to look yet. Cool, Kung Fu was in there, but yeah, let people know where they can reach you at. Your app and your clothing line.
Well, the app is kind of exclusive because you know what I'm saying, it's a social. I created my own social media network because you know what I'm saying, I don't.
It's Kanda, Kanda.
Yeah. I don't like complaining about stuff. Like people complain about Facebook but still be on it. So instead of complaining, I like to make solutions. So I made my own social media page platform. I won't say the name because I don't want to promote it because the people I add on there, I handpick and I invite them myself.
Yeah.
So there's no way that somebody can come and just, you know what I'm saying, sign up for it. You got to get vetted. So that's a whole other story. But my clothing line, you can go to Dikinga. You can go to www.dikinga.kingcustom.com for the clothing line. You know what I'm saying? I'm on Facebook. I don't do too much. I be chilling, bro. I like to promote my brothers more than I try to do myself. You know what I'm saying? Kofit, he doing a good job, man. Like you the new generation, Dr. Carter G. Woodson, bro. The way you put out information and the how you do it, you know what I'm saying? I never heard you disrespect nobody or you know what I'm saying, belittle nobody. You know what I'm saying? That's what I like. You know what I'm saying? You come with that scholarship. So
appreciate
everything you do, I'm behind you, bro.
Appreciate it. Same here, man. So make sure he got some dope stuff on this name. And I didn't even think about Alchem. That's crazy. And go to www. Man, we got something there in websites. I be forgetting www.familyconnectapparel.com and get our apparel as well. We update the website every week. We put new apparel up there on the website every week. Yeah,
we got baby t-shirts, ankle socks, and sun visors. We got a special going on.
Yeah, but we definitely got everything on there, man. We got everything on there. Like I said, we update that. And be on the lookout. This week we'll be putting up on there. Outwork everybody. T-shirts. Outwork everybody. Sweatpants. Outwork everybody shorts, and probably outwork everybody tank tops. So be on the lookout for that dope design that'll be coming up this week because that's the motto right now, and that's definitely what we're doing. We're trying to outwork everybody because we got our hands in so much thing right now. But again, appreciate everybody for tuning in, man, and we'll see y'all next time.
Hey,
man.
hold on, Kofi. Let me say this too before be on the lookout. Be on the lookout this week too, also for debate that me and the brother Victorious Felder is supposed to be having. If you're not familiar with Coach's platform, I think it's called the Blak Brown table. Make sure y'all subscribe to that as well, because Monday I will, if everything continues to go okay, I will be there debating the brother Victorious Felder on astrology. Is it science or is it pseudoscience?
That's
So man,
tomorrow.
yeah, that's tomorrow.
Man,
It's
well, you
supposed
ain't
to be.
said nothing, man. You ain't said nothing in the back chat.
Cause I ain't know if he was gonna come. Like it started to be like he was trying to move the goalposts and all this. So I ain't know what was gonna happen. But yeah, it looks like we supposed to have a weigh-in tonight at 6 p.m. 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that'll be happening tonight. So if everything goes well with tonight, it'll be for tomorrow. But at first, it was looking like he was trying to move the goalpost. So I didn't know if it was gonna happen or not. But yeah, if everything cool, it'll definitely be happening Monday. I'm gonna go on and put that workout in.
Yeah, you know, I'm definitely gonna be over there to support my brother. Ooh, he's gonna be in. He's gonna have one hell of a night.
Yeah,
one
man.
hell of a night. I'm telling you, I'll definitely be over there, man. But yeah, peace and Black African power. I said ETM Hotep in the beginning, which means bring forth peace. So now I want to say Shemim Hotep. Shemim Hotep just means to depart in peace. Again, peace and Black African power, and we'll see y'all when we see y'all. Peace.
Peace and love.